I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network. An early morning house fire has left a 22-year-old man dead, 3 girls hospitalized in critical condition, and a woman injured. It happened on the west side of Columbus at about 1 o'clock this morning. The girls are age 7, 8, and 9. There's a warning about bacteria in the water at a popular beach in northwest Ohio. Melissa Andrews with ONN affiliate WTOL-TV in Toledo reports.
A swim advisory is in effect at Maumee Bay State Park. Right now, the Lake Erie waters there have a high level of bad bacteria showing up in samples. This is according to the Ohio Department of Health. Children, the elderly, and anyone in ill health or with weakened immune systems are most at risk for getting sick. I'm Melissa Andrews.
To the east of Columbus, a 75-year-old woman is dead after being hit by a pickup truck in the Newark area Tuesday. Newark police say Susan Pletcher was crossing a street when she was hit just before noon. Police say the driver involved is not facing any charges at this time. Juul nicotine vape pens may soon be pulled from stores in the U.S. Here's ONN's Kate Burdett.
The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the FDA could order the e-cigarettes off the market. Juul has been heavily criticized for selling flavored vape pods that were popular with teenagers. The company stopped selling those in 2019, right before the FDA banned them. Kate Burdett, ONN News.
And I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
The best in live and local talk returns momentarily on The Watchdog.
Honey, you know the twins are juniors in high school this year, right? You know what that means. We have to figure out how we're going to pay for college.
Looks like one of us is going to have to get a second job.
Or we could sell the boat and the motorcycle.
Like I said, one of us needs to get a second job.
Wait, I heard that Metro News is giving away a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan that includes room, board, tuition, and fees.
What? Room, board, tuition, and fees? That really is a full scholarship. And West Virginia Wesleyan is one of the best colleges in the entire state. We need to look into that.
And so do you. If you have a current junior in high school or know someone who does, go to WVMetroNews.com and click on the 2022 WV Scholar Program presented by Greer Industries. The application deadline is April 30th. It's easy to apply. Go to WVMetroNews.com and click on the Apply Now button today. Remember, the application deadline is April 30th.
Hello, everyone. From The Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Partly to mostly sunny skies, a high near 83. Partly cloudy skies through the overnight with a low near 56. Sunshine, just a few clouds around for your Friday. Temperatures near 85 for the afternoon reading. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From The Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Conversations you care about with people you know. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe on WKKX and WVLY.
And a happy good morning to you on a, what is this, Monday? Oh, Thursday edition of the Watchdog Morning Show. Bob Slider, if we make one more day, we've had a whole week this week, which we haven't had for a while, given holidays and then power problems and so on.
It's been a while.
We're coming close to hitting the 5-day record here.
Don't jinx us.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. You're right. You're right. Because, yeah, you're right. It's almost like a no-hitter. Shouldn't have said a word. Hey, beautiful day outside. Going to be a beautiful day today. 65 right now, Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 66 here at my home studios, Elm Grove section of Wheeling. 64 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley. And we are looking at sun beaming through, just bright and strong through my windows here this morning. All in all, it's going to be a good day. A little cooler than yesterday. That's good. It was really stifling hot yesterday. Going to be a little bit cooler, a little less humid than it was yesterday, but going to be sunny all day long. Sounds to me like another pool day with my little buddy. We did a pool day yesterday. Yes, we got into that rich Republican pool. I said that to my son, whose pool it is. He just laughed and laughed and laughed. And somebody said, well, it was rich Republicans. He said, no, it's your working class man's way to cool off, a nice swimming pool in the backyard. But I think I might go swimming again today. Got more bites, though. I'm telling you, the mosquitoes just seem to go crazy. Teddy had a big mosquito bite, too. Jeez. Mosquitoes get you, Bob, or are you some folks are, mosquitoes just leave alone. Do the mosquitoes get you when you're out and doing grass cutting and stuff?
Not too bad. I've been noticing a lot of flies where I've been cutting, but just swat them. They're just an annoyance. They don't bite you too bad.
Yeah. I the other night I mentioned I fell asleep on the deck, and so I just was like a buffet. They started just biting me everywhere. Just a couple new ones last night, but it is worth it. It's worth it completely for having the chance to get in the pool and enjoy a little bit of a swim. Well, you're welcome to join me anywhere along the way you choose to today. I often tell you that. 304-214-1600 is our text line, 304-214-1600. You can text in whenever the mood strikes you. Also, you can call me anytime at 304-232-8255. We're going to spend some time today talking about the gas tax. We did this a couple of days ago, but President Biden had been thinking about proposing a gas tax. Now he is going to propose a gas tax. 3-month pause in the federal gas tax, and he's encouraging states to do the same thing as well. Probably not going to happen. Congress isn't going to go along with it, probably. As here in West Virginia, unlikely to see any gas tax hike or gas tax pause get passed. The governor spent 24 hours saying, I think it's a good idea, and then changed his mind after Craig Blair said, well, the Republicans are going to vote no. And so we'll talk more about that coming up. What do you think? We've got an opinion poll online at watchdognetwork.com. It's a pretty simple one. It is, do you think there ought to be a gas tax holiday? Do you think there ought to be a temporary suspension of the gas tax in West Virginia or at the federal level? So if you want to respond, go to watchdognetwork.com and you can vote in that and let us know what you think. And I've got a little opinion piece on watchdognetwork.com that I wrote earlier this week. You can read that as well. Also coming up today, and you can start thinking about this right now, and I'll ask you, Bob Slider, what does it mean to be patriotic? New report from Wallet Hub came out this week. Wallet Hub, that financial website that just does all kinds of analysis of things. Every day they send something out about the state with the worst economy or the state with the best opportunities for working dads or what have you. They sent out a list of the most and least patriotic states this week. West Virginia was not on it. But what caught my attention was they compared blue states and red states, Democrat states and Republican states, over a variety of, I think it's 32 different factors they looked at. And they determined that blue states, those are states controlled by Democrats, tend to be more patriotic than the red states. And I think we tend to think of, rock-ribbed Republicans as being more patriotic. But the question is, what is patriotism? What's it mean? For some people, patriotism is as simple as I fly my flag on the 4th of July. And that is a good thing to do, and that is patriotic. I'll bet you do that, Bob.
Yes.
But what else is patriotism? Is that it? If we fly our flag and, salute our veterans on Veterans Day, is that enough to be patriotic, or does something else come into play?
Well,
what does patriotism mean to you?
I'm not as political as you, so I'm going to give myself a pass on this. But I think those of you who are really team players for whatever side of the aisle has to take a step back and say what's best for the country. I think that is very patriotic. You don't see that as much as you used to, Howard. You talked about how do we fix this gas thing. We all have to work together. And I think that's one of the things that we've gotten away from. And, unless we have airplanes crashing into our towers, it seems like it takes something like that for us to really work as Americans. That's what I think being patriotic is all about.
That's pretty good. I think that is. I think that's a key part of it. Putting country before party, was a way to say that in terms of politics. What's good for the country, not just what's good for the party. I'll keep it political. I will say we see that right now with this January 6th hearing, where we are seeing serious evidence that there was an attempt to overthrow the election. There was an attempt to steal the election. The evidence is now being piled up. We're going to talk more about that later on today, as a matter of fact. And yet, for party's sake, too many people are saying, I refuse to believe it. No, I think you're right. Patriotism it's flying the flag. I'll put that out, absolutely. It's also doing what's right for the country, not just for the party or, God help us, for yourself. That's actually a pretty good point. If any of y'all have some thoughts on what patriotism is, text me, 304-214-1600, or call me, 304-232-8255. What does it mean to be patriotic? We're going to talk to some folks from Wallet Hub later this morning. Joe Gonzalez coming in just to talk about the things they looked at when they determined which states were the most patriotic. I found it interesting because, again, it's a phrase it's a word we hear that I think we all kind of sort of take for granted. Patriotic. I am patriotic, or he's not patriotic, or what have you. He doesn't fly the flag, for example. He's not patriotic. Well, maybe he's patriotic in other ways. I will be a bit controversial. I think that those people who refuse to stand, who kneel during the American national anthem are as patriotic as others. Who was it, Teddy Roosevelt? Somebody help me. There was a president who said, I can't get the quote now. My mind's gone bad already at 7:15 in the morning. But basically said, it is not patriotic to always support your president no matter what. It is patriotic to criticize your president when you truly believe he's wrong. I think that's patriotism. So we're going to talk about it later. Give me a call now or give me a text now, and we will talk about that. We'll talk about the January 6th hearings. I got a little piece from ABC News I want to share with you in depth on some of the testimony earlier this week about how some election officials who refused to allow Trump to steal the election have had death threats. And we talked yesterday about some of the work that may be done at Wheeling Park in the next few years because of some money given by the federal government through the city of Wheeling. I thought we'd take a look today at some of the other projects that are going to be done, West Bank Arena, the Capitol Theater, and so on. So I'll get to that this morning as well. You're welcome to call me, as I said. You're welcome to text me. Whatever works for you is fine. That's kind of a look ahead at where I expect us to go over the course of the morning this morning. Bob, I had this idea. I'm drinking this morning, of course, from my Watchdog Morning Show coffee mug. Oh, that coffee's good. Hold on one second. Yeah. Got your Pepsi there?
I do, right here. Absolutely. You want me to take a big swig?
Yeah, you can do that if you want to. Sure, yeah. You can take a big swig of
join you.
Pepsi. All right, go ahead.
Is that good?
That's good. It's just that sometimes the early morning sips are just the best, but I've got my coffee here. I have it in a Watchdog Morning Show coffee mug, which we're going to be giving away here in the near future. I got coffee mugs and pens from the Watchdog Morning Show. We're going to give those away as little prizes for some of our listeners and so on. And I was thinking about getting some T-shirts made, Bob. And I thought, okay, wouldn't it be cool to have a T-shirt that said the Watchdog Morning Show on it, right? I mean, I thought that'd be a cool T-shirt, don't you think?
Nice
maybe
T-shirt.
a picture of you and me on it even. Oh, that'd be kind of neat. The Watchdog Morning Show.
Now you're
Yeah,
talking.
I think that'd be cool. I don't know if we can do that anymore.
How come?
Because Ohio State University has now trademarked the. Nobody else can use the
That may be a problem.
on clothing. Yeah, so I think we couldn't do the Watchdog Morning Show. I don't understand. How can you trademark probably the single most used word in the English language? In fact, I'm going to Google that during a break and see. I'll bet you the is the most common word in the English language. How can you trademark that? How can you say nobody else can use that? The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office approved Ohio State's application yesterday, issuing them a registration certificate, which means only Ohio State can use the on clothing, on, T-shirts or baseball caps or hats or whatever. I don't get it. How can you trademark a word like the? How can you trademark? Look, I get it. We talked earlier this week about the first advertising slogan, which was trademarked. Treat yourself to the best. Block Brothers did that. That was one of the very first advertising slogans ever used. Treat yourself to the best. And it was trademarked. And I actually remember getting a letter from the company a number of years ago. We had used treat yourself to the best on some other commercial we had run. No, you are not permitted to use treat yourself to the best. Okay, all right. Well, that's kind of a created phrase or an advertising phrase. But you can't use the? You can't use the?
Surely that won't come into play here. If we're talking like a coffee shop or a radio show in the morning, that has to be only against other universities, right? Where they can't put the in front of their name.
That is not what I'm reading here. Let me be careful. It is only applies to apparel, T-shirts, baseball caps, hats, anything distributed, promoted, distributed, and sold through customary channels. That's what the business certificate that they get, the registration certificate they got reads. In other words, reading this article here, only Ohio State can have apparel that just has "the" on it.
So if we had a business and we called it Under the Rainbow, now suddenly it's Under Rainbow. We have to take "the" out.
I guess so. I guess so. Again, only on T-shirts. I guess you could put it on your, you could call yourself that. You could put it on your business card. You could have it on your sign on your door or whatever. If I understand what's here correctly, the registration certificate. But when it comes to apparel, clothing, only Ohio State can use "the." That just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But it's already a done deal. They're not asking to do it. They did it. The Ohio State University has now successfully received a trademark on the word "the." Now, every time they show it, it's in a capital. It's capital THE. So maybe if you just go small case THE, maybe that's not trademarked. I don't know. So we'll have to be small letter "the" if we have a T-shirt that says "The Morning Show." To me, that's just really very, very strange. Very strange. If you offer some thoughts on that, feel free to text me. Do you think Ohio State's doing a good thing? I know, got a lot of Ohio State fans out there. That's right, we are the Ohio State University. Nobody else should be the anything. It's crazy. All right, a little more talk about the gas tax. We talked about it at some length last week. I'll talk a bit more about it coming up next. When we talked about it a couple of days ago, Biden had simply said he was thinking about maybe asking for a federal gas tax hike. President Biden now has said he is going to ask Congress for a federal gas tax hike. And Congress has already pretty much said, ain't going to do it, including Senator Manchin. Tell you why Manchin thinks it's just he didn't want to do it. And we'll talk a bit about what the Governor Justice has to say, repeating what he had said previously and why he sort of kind of maybe is in favor of it but doesn't think he'll do it. We'll do a little gas tax talk. That's coming up next on the Watchdog Morning Show. Welcome to a great, beautiful Thursday. Sunshine, blue skies, much lower humidity, a little lower heat than we had during the day yesterday. It was just miserably hot yesterday. We're going to have a high of only around 82 today. That's a livable height. And sunshine all day long. In fact, it'll be all day sunshine the next several days. Aaron has all the details later on. But we'll talk about gas tax coming up in a minute. 65 at the airport, 66 at the home studios, 64 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley.
On the last talk line on Metro News, Brad McElhenney talking about the testimony of Chris Stirewalt before the January 6th Commission.
Stirewalt did talk about the elections desk that night and that early Arizona call. He characterized it as a call that the elections desk, multiple members of the desk, were very confident in.
Talk line weekdays at 10:06 right here on this Metro News radio station. We'll talk to you then.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design and
to help you identify the steps to protect your data and reputation from the very real cyber threats that exist today. Schedule your free consultation by calling Omni at 304-242-7600 or online at omniperforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only cybersecurity firm that the Watchdog trusts.
We are compassionate.
We are focused.
We are confident.
We are dependable.
We are resilient.
We are skilled.
We are empathetic.
We are knowledgeable.
We are respectful.
We are here.
For you and your family.
We are close to home. We are
WVU Medicine.
You're never too far from the most local programming in the Ohio Valley. Find us here. AM 1600 and 1370. FM 98.1 and 97.7. We are the Watchdog. The Watchdog.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
We're on air, online, on video, and on demand. Find us where you like us. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Got a couple of questions I'm asking you this morning, and you can answer on the text line or call in if you would like to. Number one, what is patriotism? We're going to do a segment on patriotism a bit later on. Got some numbers from Wallet Hub listing the best states and worst states for patriotism in this country. The thing that jumped out at me that I thought was counterintuitive to what we often think was that blue states, i.e. the Democrat-controlled states, tend to be more patriotic than red states are. And I got wondering what are the characteristics they were looking at for patriotism to put this list together. So we're going to talk with a guest from Wallet Hub later on this morning about how they put this list together and what they think patriotism is. But I'm asking you, what is patriotism? My country, right or wrong? Flying the American flag? Or defending Donald Trump, I guess. I don't know. What's patriotism? What is it to you? You can text me or call me. The other thing I'm asking you about is the gas tax hike, the gas tax suspension, not hike, I keep saying hike. The gas tax suspension, the gas tax holiday, some people call it, in order to give all of us a little tiny bit, there's no question it's tiny, but a tiny bit of relief at the pump from the now $5 a gallon gas across the country. And we've talked about it in West Virginia. The Republican legislative leaders said yet. President Biden is now saying he would like to do it at the federal level. And he's proposing that tax for 3 months, a 3-month period of tax relief for the citizens. Republicans on Capitol Hill are probably going to oppose that. We'll talk about that in a minute or two. But are you in favor of a gas tax relief bill, pausing the gas tax for a short period of time? We actually have an opinion poll on that at watchdognetwork.com. You can go and vote in the opinion poll. Or again, you can call or text me. And while I'm talking about texting, Bob, I have a couple of leftovers, some things earlier in the week that I didn't get to, or actually they didn't get to in time. She's going all the way back to Monday. Monday, we're talking about the most famous West Virginians, and got this text. I know this is earlier in the week, but West Virginia celebrities. Sam Snead. There's one we forgot. Never thought about Sam Snead. I don't know if he'd be among the most famous, but he certainly was a famous West Virginian.
Back in the 60s, there was no name bigger. And you had Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Sam Snead. They were the
Sam
biggest.
Snead, that's one I hadn't thought of before. Kathy Mattea, whom we talked about. What amazed me this week, and I heard this on the afternoon show with Dave Weekly, Hotline with Dave Weekly, and Dave was doing the birthday list, and he had Kathy Mattea's birthday. She's like 65, something like that. She's in her 60s. I don't think of Kathy Mattea being that old. She's up there with me.
Yeah.
Holy, well,
Yeah.
not quite, but I still think of her as just a youngin'. Another one from our listener here. We talked about this person, but I don't think we came up with her name. We talked about the woman who played Roberta on 2.5 Men, and then on a couple other shows too. And she was from West Virginia. Conchita Farrell was her name. Conchita Farrell. And finally, off this texter, Eleanor Stieber. Eleanor Stieber, a great opera singer from Wheeling, tremendously well known in the classical world and the operatic world. I don't know that that's a name that would ring with anybody who's not into classical music or operatic music, but appreciate the suggestion there. So that was from Monday, kind of a follow-up call there, a follow-up text there. And then we talked yesterday about Bat Boy. The mythical creature created by the Weekly World News tabloid became a wildly successful story in the Weekly World News about this half-man, half-bat creature found and raised in the caves under West Virginia. And in one of the articles, he supposedly had escaped from a research lab in Wheeling, West Virginia. And we got thinking about some of the bizarre creatures in West Virginia. No, I'm not talking about Governor Justice. No, not that, or Baby Dog. No, that's not what I'm talking about. The mythical creatures we're talking about. And one of them, of course, is Mothman. Off the text line, Howard, I watched the Richard Gere Mothman Prophecies movie. I was expecting a horrible monster film. It actually was pretty good. It was about the Silver Bridge collapse. So, yeah, it was a bizarre movie. We talked about that, Bob, but I think you said you saw that movie, right? The Mothman Prophecy with Richard Gere?
I'm not.
You didn't see that?
Nah, I'm not into that. The bridge fell in the river. I mean,
well, yes, it did.
Okay.
So, yes, it was the Mothman. The Mothman who warned people.
Him and Bat Boy, they teamed up on that one.
I think so. Well, Mothman and Bat Boy, they're very similar to each other. That Mothman Prophecies movie was a very weird movie. No question about it. Nowhere near as successful as I think they thought it would be with Richard Gere in it. It was spooky. What they did was they would shoot like scenes of a whole bunch of cars around with their lights on, but the red lights of the car would look like the Mothman's eyes. Anyway, the texter says he thought it was an interesting movie, a fun movie. To me, it was.
Can I ask you a question about that? All right, you've seen the movie. You just described it. I hated the movie, and after describing it, why would I want to travel down there? Do you think that movie pulled people into the area, or do you think it made them stay away from that area?
Let's be clear. The Department of Tourism probably will not be showing that at any of the roadside travel stops as a way to get people to come to West Virginia.
Yeah, they'll stick with John Denver.
Yeah, two things about that movie. Number one, it was about the very real collapse of the Silver Bridge. I mean, and that was a horrible thing. I was working in radio, just a little pup, when it happened, and I remember sending people down and all that kind of stuff. But it was a horrible event, and people died. Silver Bridge collapsed. So, yeah, that's what you want. Come to West Virginia, where our bridges fall down. Yeah, you don't want that. And then the concept of the Mothman. Come to West Virginia, where we have giant red bug-eyed monsters roaming around. Yeah, it's probably not the best tourism idea, I would think. Your point there again, sir. Very, 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 very well taken. Text line from this morning. Kathy Mattea is a fill-in host on Mountain Stage. Yes, she does fill in for Mountain Stage, the West Virginia Public Radio broadcast. And Kathy Mattea is... Actually, I think she's officially the host, isn't she?
She was part of our montage to the salute to West Virginia. Sure. We couldn't do that
absolutely.
without Kathy Mattea. I just didn't know how old she was. That's all.
No, I didn't either until I heard Dave Weekly say it in the afternoon show here on the Watchdog. So live and learn. Live and learn. All right, catching up with some text there, but that's all I have time for right now. We'll talk about the gas tax in a bit. We'll talk about weather in a moment or two. Aaron will be here. But I'll give you a sneak preview. It's good. That's it. It's good. Good forecast over the next couple of days. But we'll let Aaron say it in a more entertaining way because he's an entertaining kind of guy. Aaron Myler coming up in a minute or two. But we'll check your sports and your news here in the Upper Ohio Valley right now. In fact, Stephanie is Stephanie ready?
Let me check. Steph, you ready? Yeah, she's ready, Howard.
All right.
Good Thursday
Hey, good morning,
everyone.
Steph.
I'm Stephanie Grinley with your 7 News headlines for June 23rd. At commission last night, residents affected by Appalachian Power's and Wheeling Power's proposal to bump up rates brought up questions and concerns. Senators and delegates spoke, saying this is not the time for a rate increase. 170 letters were sent showing opposition in the increase. The power companies are asking for around $300 million. That's an increase of about $13 a month, and according to the Public Service Commission Chairman Charlotte Lane, that's high. AEP says they need this for fuel cost recovery. While we wait for the Commission's final decision, an evidentiary hearing in Charleston will first take place on August 2nd. The Hancock County Sheriff's Office needs your help finding out what led to a shooting incident Tuesday night in Weirton. Sheriff deputies responded to Kings Creek Road, where a person was shot in the lower back. Officials are asking residents on Kings Creek and the surrounding areas that have security cameras to please contact the Sheriff's Office. If you want to remain anonymous, you can text a tip to 847-411. President Biden pushed a new initiative for Congress to consider a temporary end to the gasoline tax. He asked lawmakers to pause the monthly 18-cent premium on each gallon and called on states to do the same. The president accused oil companies of profiteering and not producing enough for consumers. However, members of both parties have said they are not in favor of a short-term discount. Drivers we spoke with in the Ohio Valley had mixed feelings. Some were for a freeze and some wanted more information. That was a look at your 7 News headlines. I'm Stephanie Grinley. Have a great Thursday, everyone.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Introducing Beat the Stigma, Ohio's newest game show, where contestants go head-to-head to uncover the underlying causes of addiction. Did you know many of the contributing factors of addiction are beyond your control? Genetics can be responsible for 50% of your risk for addiction. Addiction is not a decision, it's a disease, and it's treatable. Can you beat the stigma? Challenge what you know about addiction at beatthestigma.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy inherited properties, vacant homes, rentals, commercial properties, and apartment buildings. Give us a call today and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Cybersecurity attacks can cripple and even force a small business to close. Does your organization have a focused approach to being cyber resilient? If you can't answer yes, you should contact Omni Strategic Technologies to help you identify the steps to protect your data and reputation from the very real cyber threats that exist today. Schedule your free consultation by calling Omni at 304-242-7600 or online at omniperforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only cybersecurity firm that the Watchdog trusts.
Summer is here at your Toyota dealer. Check out Toyota's wide range of hybrid vehicles with incredible MPGs, like a new RAV4 hybrid with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever before. Or travel in style in a new Highlander hybrid with cutting-edge tech and plenty of space for the whole family. Visit buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. But hurry, offers end July 5th. Reserve yours today. Toyota, let's go places.
Watch out. He could climb on his soapbox at any time. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Stayed in bed all morning just to pass the time. There's something wrong here, there can be no denying. One of us is changing, or maybe we just stopped trying. And it's too late, baby, now it's too late. Though we really did try to make it.
All right, 7:40, 20 till the hour. Good choice of music there, Mr. Slider. I appreciate that. 7:40, 20 till the hour. If you want to join us on the phone line, 304-232-8255. We have been talking about patriotism. That's what I'm talking about a little bit today. What defines patriotism? You can text me or call me if you would like to. At 304-214-1600 or 304-232-8255. And a recent survey on patriotism had a lot of information about what makes a patriot, and it's not always the stuff we think about. I've got a guest coming by to talk about that later. So I'd like your take. What is a patriot? What makes you patriotic? Is it simply flying the flag, or do you have to do something else or be something else besides just a flag flyer? Share your thoughts with me on the phone lines or on the text line. The other question of the day is, do you support the idea of a gas tax holiday? President Biden proposed it yesterday. It has to go to Congress for approval. I doubt if it will get that approval. Governor Justice had kind of sort of agreed that he would go along with the Democrats' proposal in West Virginia for a gas tax holiday. But Senate President Craig Blair said, you're not going to do that. We Republicans aren't going to do a gas tax holiday for the people of West Virginia. So it looks like a dead deal there. Over at WatchdogNetwork.com, there is an opinion poll. Do you support the idea of a gas tax holiday? Right now, about 2-1 in favor, but a few folks are saying no as well. Boy, what a great day yesterday. Really hot. I mean, super duper crooked hot. And I didn't put sunscreen on when I first got in the pool. And man, you could feel it. You know, you feel that, Bob, you can feel the heat bearing down, or Aaron, you can feel the heat bearing down in weird places, like the tip of your nose and the backs of your ears. That's when you really can tell it's hot, when you feel the sun there. You know what I'm saying, Aaron?
I feel like where I can tell I can like getting hot in the sun is when I can I feel like the top of my forehead where it gets to my hairline. That's why I'm like the other day when I got live shot outside, I was sitting there holding my head, like my forehead, so it wouldn't get too much sun so I could feel it getting hot. And I was like, these people around here probably think I'm nuts, just randomly holding my forehead for 15 minutes.
Is that the weather guy holding his forehead? A little weird about that weather guy. Yeah, you're right. Another great day, though. I mean, super hot. It was really hot. I asked you like I did yesterday. What did we get to for an official high yesterday?
92.
92. I figured we passed the 90 mark. It was
official high.
We had to get out of the pool a little bit early, though, earlier than we did the day before, somewhere around, 4 o'clock, 4:30-ish or so. Some really dark clouds began to roll in, and I heard a couple of rumbles of thunder, so we had to get out of our swimming pool for the day. But it seemed to me, I don't think here in my area we actually got any rain. It looked like it.
Yeah.
And then at night it had that yellow sky again. I thought a big storm was going to be coming, but at least here, I don't think we had any kind of rain.
Yeah, it was not like that real scattered and isolated stuff, because we definitely had a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings as it rolled through for some. But it was like little storm cells that moved through. So it was kind of like, if they didn't hit you, you wouldn't know. Like if you looked at the radar last night, like during it, you would have been like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff happening. But it's like, we're all just one little person on this planet. It's like if it didn't come to your home, you're probably gonna, like you said, I'm gonna have no clue it even rained last night. So yeah, we're not really seeing. It was a lot more broken apart yesterday, but I mean that's exactly what we were expecting, which is good, but it's hard to describe.
Yeah, it had the look, like I said, the clouds rolled in. It was dark, late to mid late afternoon. I did hear a rumble of thunder. So, geez, got to get out of the pool. My grandson said, do we have to get out of the pool, Granddad? Yeah, we got to get out of the pool. I think it's going to rain. So we got out of the pool, and then in the evening, the skies turned yellow. I always hate those yellow skies. They make me nervous. I still think of the Wizard of Oz and that witch on the bicycle going by. But again, we, at least here, just here, didn't have any problem. Did some people have problems? Did we have any significant storms last night around the valley, Aaron?
Let's see how to word this. We had some storms that were significant in the sense that they were severe thunders. They warned severe thunderstorms. But in the same breath, we didn't have any major issue. I think after last week, compared to last week, we had nothing major. Compared to last week.
Well, first of all, let me say, I hope we never again have anything major like last week. I hope it's another 15 years before that kind of thing occurs.
trying to compare. I'm like, oh, we had stuff happen. We had some severe storms, but like I said, they were really very like isolated storms. So they're just kind of here and there. And if one didn't hit you, you wouldn't know it rained because it just wasn't that kind of system as it moved through. But yeah, very isolated kind of storms and showers as they rolled through. Again, nothing like yesterday. Like I saw somebody sent me a picture of a tree that came down somewhere, which is, I was telling Brenda yesterday, I was like, trees come down all the time with storms just because, I mean, if it's a dead tree, it just needs a little gust of wind to kind of get down. It's just, we don't, and so people's power, I mean, like I remember at my house when I was growing up, a tree would go down in a storm, and like your neighborhood or like even your street might be without power. That kind of stuff happened all the time. It was just that like you didn't have tens of thousands of people without power all the time.
Every tree everywhere. Come down.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like we had a tree, or at least a tree. I saw one, but like we've had trees go down, but nothing like we had last week where there was like hundreds of trees everywhere that went down. So yeah, we always going to have.
Honestly, I don't ever remember around here or any place that I've seen as many trees down. Now, I remember a couple of derechos in the past. I remember the horrible flood of Shadyside. I remember Mother Nature unleashing her power on us in horrible ways. I don't think I have ever. Bob Slider, you've been around a long time, almost as long as I have. Did you ever see the kind of destruction in terms of trees being down and so on that we have right now that we had last week?
Absolutely not. Where you could actually track it, look at the path and say, well, here it went right through here. No, never. Absolutely never.
I think Aaron's point is well taken. We have had some pretty intense storms in the past, and we've had trees, plural, multiple down. But I don't ever recall anything even close to what we saw in terms of trees down. You drive out National Road in Elm Grove right now, especially between Dimmydale and Elm Grove, that stretch of road by Wheeling Park. Don't even go into the park. Forget how bad the park is. You just see all these huge stacks of, cut up trees. Now they're cut up. Sometimes they're still waiting. They're sitting, but they're all just sitting there. I've never seen that much destruction of trees.
Hey, Howard, if you're in the firewood business, and around September you sell a lot of firewood, I got some bad news for you. I think business is going to be down this year.
Yeah, that's a good point. My grandson decided this week, they have a little fire pit in their backyard. And for some reason, he said, Granddad, not to me, I'm sorry, to his daddy, Daddy, when you have a fire pit and you're going to eat like s'mores outside, you're supposed to sit on tree stumps. I don't know where he got that idea, from watching a TV or something. And a friend of my son's has been doing tree cuts, has been cutting the broken trees down. So he said, he need tree stumps? He brought him out 4 great big tree stumps just to sit around the fire. So they've got their big tree stumps, which he just collected from some of the wood he was cutting. But Aaron, enough about that which was. Let's talk about that which will be. And it will be another really nice day, but even better than yesterday, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. The next few days are going to be great. I'm thinking specifically today just because it's going to be the coolest of the next few here. 82 for the high. Definitely still warm.
Nice.
But 80 is where we would normally be sitting for high temperatures. So we're kind of right on par with a normal. And it feels like July to me. I know June, like summer started yesterday or 2 days ago, but this just feels like July kind of weather in the 80s in my head. But yeah, I mean, it's 82 and sunny. The humidity is continuing to drop throughout the day here today, so it'll get better later on. Friday going to be nice as well, so 2 really nice days here. Then Saturday, the humidity comes back some, and we're going to have it getting up to 90, so it will be a little bit hotter that day again, back to where we were yesterday when we were last week with the heat. And then Sunday, we have some showers that come back into your forecast. Now, I mean, this is still pretty far out to look at exact everything and worry about stuff yet, but right now it's looking like it's going to come through in the afternoon and evening. A couple storms could be in there, and it'll probably wrap up by the time you're heading out the door or getting to work on Monday. So there's some rain coming, but the good news with that rain, it's another cold front, which means our temperatures are dropping down again, and we're going to get this time into the upper 70s, so even better. I think that's for this time of year, that's probably the best we're getting besides last weekend. So
yeah, I mean, it looks like really a pretty good forecast. Just a bit of rain on Sunday. But really all 2 and through your 7 day, we're looking at really nice, fairly nice weather. And if you're looking for, as I have been lately, the pool days, you got 2 or 3 of them stacked up in a row. Yesterday, of course, today, tomorrow, Saturday, all going to be really nice. A little warmer on Saturday, but good pool days or good, do something outdoors days. So pretty good forecast. Mother Nature decided to give us a reprieve, I guess, after beating us up with a stick last week. Kind of gave us, I'll give him a week worth of good weather.
Oh my gosh,
Who knows
that
what'll
word
come
reprieve.
next.
The word reprieve brings back memories from whenever Zach and I interned up at Youngstown together. That was the one word he loves talking about allergies. You tell your allergies and say, we're going to get some much needed reprieve today. And for some reason, you saying that just brings that back to my head.
Hey, do you have time for me to ask you one more weather question? What is a heat dome? I keep hearing that there's a heat dome in the middle part of the country. What is a heat dome?
I'm assuming what they're talking about with that is going to be how everything's working right now. We have, how do I describe it? We have how the weather patterns always come through. We have warm fronts and cold fronts and low pressure systems and whatnot. I honestly never heard the word a heat dome before, but I'm assuming it means from whenever. Okay, I'm Googling it right now. Okay, it's exactly what I thought it was. Think of those.
Okay.
How do I word this in the most easy way? We have high pressure and low pressure. Sometimes I'm talking about how something's going to pass through and warm air is going to kind of move in from the south. They have high pressure there right now, which is allowing the weather pattern around it. Kind of goes like in a curve, like a wavy line across the country. Think about a wavy line, just like you see if there's 80s cartoons of being like, this is what a microwave looks like, and it like the actual microwave.
Yes, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, think of those kind of waves like that. They're in the part where it's called a ridge, where it's there's the hump. The hump is over them, and it's allowing warm air from the south to just pump into the region. If that helps at all.
And it just stays for a while. Is that it?
Yeah, those usually move left to right, but how it's been situated right now, it's going farther north, which is just allowing warm air to get higher than it normally would necessarily.
Okay. I heard some people talking about the heat dome, and it's a phrase I'd not really been familiar with, so I thought we could elucidate our audience a bit about that.
I was looking for a better way to describe it on the internet, but all it talks about is a jet stream, which also confuses people, so I also try to not talk about. I try to use stuff it's like, how do you describe the word blank without using, I'm trying to think of an example. So there's certain words you can't describe without using the word itself.
Right, exactly.
Long story short, just how the weather pattern's working. It's allowing warm air from the south just to pump up into that region and just make it hotter, where it would normally be kind of capped off with that line. It's allowing it to go farther.
I got you. All right, sir. I appreciate the education here this morning, and I appreciate the forecast. And have yourself a delightful summery day today, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Talk to you then. Have a good one, Howard.
Thanks, Aaron Myler from the Big 7, WTRF TV. Yeah, I've been hearing people talk about this heat dome. Somebody said to me yesterday, I think we're at the eastern edge of the heat dome, and I wasn't quite sure what that was. I guess it's just basically the heat comes in and gets captured. It doesn't move, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure Aaron really know either, but but he gave it a good shot. 7 before the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. We are looking at 65 degrees, Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 66 here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling. 64 and very sunny degrees outside at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley.
It's the summer's hottest party, the Circus Saints and Sinners Party on the Plaza Music and Food Festival. The fun happens Saturday, July 9th at the Plaza on Market in downtown Wheeling. Get tickets at partyontheplaza.org.
Once again, Toyota is the best resale value brand according to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. So stop waiting and check out a new Camry, available with all-wheel drive and a 24-valve V6 engine, delivering an impressive 301 horsepower. Or check out a stylish Venza with an all-hybrid powertrain and 40 miles per gallon. Visit buyatoyota.com and reserve yours today. Toyota, let's go places.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Broadcasting from the Ohio Valley, talking about the Ohio Valley. We're live and local. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Oh, 7:55, 5 before the hour on the Watchdog Morning Show. A couple of items off the community calendar I want to get to your attention for this weekend. The second annual steak fry for the St. John's Home for Children here in Elm Grove will be held at the Wheeling Park Ice Rink on, Bob, I asked this yesterday, the 24th is tomorrow, on Friday, tomorrow. 6 o'clock tomorrow at the Wheeling Park Ice Rink. It is a fundraiser for St. John's Home for Children. Used to be called the Orphanage, but it's not the Orphanage anymore. But I was on the board of directors for St. John's Home for a while, and they do really good work for children who need places to stay. So help them out by going to a steak fry. No better way to help an organization than by going to some place where you can have food at the same time. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, Wheeling Park Ice Rink, St. John's second annual steak fry. There will be music, basket raffles, and tickets $25 each, $40 for a couple if you would like to. And I think you can just show up, or you can call St. John's at 304-242-5633. St. John's Home for Kids, second annual steak fry. Also, this Saturday, we'll be doing, I say we, it's not we, but it'll be at my church. There will be a presentation on the history of the Presbyterian Church in Wheeling called Receiving the Spiritual Bread. It is at Vance Church. It's not about Vance Church. Vance will be part of the whole presentation. But it'll be about the long history of the Presbyterian Church here in the Upper Ohio Valley. Well-known local historian Gene Finstein will be doing the presentation. Starts at 10:30 Saturday morning in the sanctuary at Vance Church. It's open to the public. Just come on in. I've seen Gene do a similar presentation on this. It's really, if you're historically minded, it's really interesting to see how the Presbyterian Church grew here in the Upper Ohio Valley. Presbyterians were among the first to establish churches in this area. Vance Church, the church I attend, was one of the first, but not the first. The Roney's Point Church, Stone Presbyterian Church, First Presbyterian Church, all were out there around the same time. So learn a bit about how the Presbyterian Church grew in Wheeling with Gene Finstein tomorrow at the Vance Church, in the Vance Church Sanctuary at 10:30. And looking ahead just a little bit into July, I think this is the second one. I know last year they had one as well. Cops, Pops, and Community at the Wheeling Waterfront, where they'll have games and DJs and all sorts of things for the kids and inflatables and so on. It's designed to get everybody together here in the Upper Ohio Valley. The police and the community together. Chief Schwartzfeger is a big supporter of this. The Y is a big supporter of this. And the folks at Ziegenfelders are really the sponsor of this. There's going to be, you get some free popsicles and stuff. So that's set up for Cops, Pops, and Community. Did it last year. Huge success last year. Second one, I think it's the second one this year, July 9th, 11 to 2 at Wheeling's Waterfront. So a couple of items off the community calendar. And I encourage you, if you have something you want us to publicize, send them to me. It's got to be in writing. Don't grab me or talk to me on the street. I'll never remember that. I'm lucky to remember my own name. But send it to me in writing. You can fax me a flyer at 304-214-1609. That's our flyer. That's our fax number. You can mail it to us at 1140 Main Street, Wheeling, Suite 100, and it'll come in. Or drop it off at the radio station. Or email me anytime you want to with the information about an event you have coming up. Radio Monroe, that's my email address, radiomonroe@aol.com. More on the gas tax, more on patriotism, more on some of the improvements that are going to be made at Westbanco Arena and the Capitol Theater. I've got all of that coming up in the next hour. Bob Slider behind the board. I'm here right talking to you, and we're going to continue the conversation after ABC brings us up to speed on the news right now.
That was just a dream. Watchdogs, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Several oil company executives are in Washington today for meetings with Biden administration officials on high gas prices. The talks happening a day after President Biden called on Congress to suspend the federal gas tax for at least 3 months as a way of helping drivers. ABC News Chief White House correspondent Cecilia Vega with more on the response so far.
Many Republicans dismiss it as a gimmick ahead of the midterms, and even some Democrats are skeptical. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi concerned oil companies more than consumers could benefit, and many economists agree. Senator Mark Warner saying he's hesitant.
It's easy to take away a tax. It's hard to put one back on.
On Capitol Hill today, another hearing for the Select Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection. ABC News congressional correspondent Rachel Scott.
The committee will try to make the case that former President Donald Trump was behind a dangerous plot to corrupt the top law enforcement body in the nation, pushing officials to try and overturn the 2020 election. Today, the committee will be hearing from witnesses who resisted those calls, including former acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen, former acting Deputy Attorney General Richard Donahue, and former Assistant Attorney General Stephen Engel.
The Senate bipartisan group working on gun safety measures will hold another procedural vote today. Some parents of first graders killed in the Sandy Hook shooting applaud the legislation. Nicole Hockley lost her son Dylan.
It's taken too long to get here. Thousands of people have died. Tens of thousands of people have died along the way. But at least we're here, and that's going to save lives going forward and have some meaning.
A final vote in the Senate is expected to come tomorrow. In Uvalde, Texas, School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo has been placed on administrative leave. He has come under intense criticism for his handling of the school massacre, and he is still a member of the Uvalde City Council. The Supreme Court will hand down more decisions today. They could include rulings on the right to carry concealed weapons and the right to an abortion. You're listening to ABC News.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
European Union leaders start a two-day meeting today in Brussels. At the top of the agenda, considering making Ukraine a candidate for membership. In a few days, NATO leaders gather in Spain amid bids by Finland and Sweden to join, their applications prompted by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Digging by hand in parts of eastern Afghanistan after an earthquake that killed at least 1,000 people. More from ABC's Tom Rivers at the Foreign Desk.
The quake, the deadliest in the country in 2 decades. More misery as millions already face increasing hunger and poverty since the Taliban reclaimed power amid the chaotic U.S. withdrawal. Mohammed Gholam Sorwar from the group Islamic Relief.
They need food support, they need shelter support, they need clean drinking water support, and definitely they need also longer-term support for recovery.
He says his team members on the ground will start distributing food aid first over the first few days, but it's unclear how long they can continue to provide daily rations after that. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
The World Health Organization today is convening an emergency committee to consider if monkeypox should be declared a global emergency. And pretty soon, Alexa may be able to do impressions. Developers have shown a feature that allows the digital assistant to mimic a voice after hearing it for less than a minute. If the feature rolls out, it could let you have Alexa sound like a celebrity or a relative. This is ABC News.
At the United States Postal Service, we deliver packages fast and affordably so you can give your customers what they want when they need it. We're delivering for one-stop shops, mom and pops, pop-ups, startups, retail, wholesale, large scale, small biz, big box, customers, customizers. So no matter what business you're in, we'll always be delivering for you. USPS, delivering for America. Learn more at usps.com/delivering.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network. President Joe Biden is calling on Congress to suspend the federal tax on gasoline and diesel fuel for 3 months. And
the second action I'm taking is calling on states to either suspend the state gas tax as well or find other ways to deliver some relief.
Governor Mike DeWine's office says he opposes the plan. State and federal taxes total about 57 cents per gallon on gasoline in Ohio. The idea also came up during the 2008 presidential election, with then-President Barack Obama saying,
"This isn't a real solution. It's a political stunt. This is what Washington does whenever there's a big problem. Politicians pretend they're looking out for you, but they're just looking out for their poll numbers."
At the time, Obama's political opponent, Senator Hillary Clinton, supported the tax break. Ohio State University has been awarded a trademark for the word "the" on certain apparel. Tracy Townsend with ONN affiliate WBNS TV in Columbus has more.
This means the university can make merchandise that just says "the." The school tried to patent the word back in 2019, but the clothing company Marc Jacobs tried to do the same thing at the same time. Both OSU and Marc Jacobs have agreed to share the trademark "How Firm Thy Friendship" at the Ohio State University. I'm Tracy Townsend.
And I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
304-214-1600. Call the Watchdog with your thoughts. We'll be right back to Local Talk.
Wheeling Coin and Hobby on 10th Street in Wheeling, next to the Bridge Tavern in downtown Wheeling, wants to buy any and all unwanted gold and silver jewelry. They are paying top dollar for 10, 14, 18, and 22 karat gold plus 925 sterling silver. They also want to buy collectible coins and paper money from before 1933. Wheeling Coin and Hobby is open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Coin and Hobby, 304-232-8430, and add them on Facebook.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tab, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Partly to mostly sunny skies, a high near 83. Partly cloudy skies through the overnight with a low near 56. Sunshine, just a few clouds around for your Friday. Temperatures near 85 for the afternoon reading. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
He has his say. You can have yours. Text us or call us and join the conversation. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Oh, it's so nice to be with you. I love all the things you say and do. And it's so nice to hear you say you're gonna please me in every way. Honey, I got the notion you're causing commotion in my soul.
Yeah, it's always nice to be with you here on the Watchdog Morning Show every weekday from 7 until 10. Glad you're along for a conversational ride. You can listen in anytime. You can join the program if you'd like to by dialing in at 304-232-8255. Or if you don't have time for a phone call, you want to make a quick text, you can text from your phone to 304-214-1600. And happy to get you on the text line, and I'll share most every text that I get. Sometimes I just skip over. Every once in a while, I think somebody's a little bit inebriated when they text. I kind of skip over those. And as I always used to say, keep it legal, keep it clean. Other than that, you're pretty much on your own. Text me at 214-1600. Temperature rising a little bit. Going to be a little cooler than yesterday, but still a beautiful day like it was yesterday. 67 right now, Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. It's 70 here at the home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and 68 degrees at the Robinson Automotive Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Sun is just beaming through. It's just a gorgeous, beautiful morning outside. Going to be that way all day. Lots of sunshine for the day. Cooler than yesterday. We hit 92 yesterday, Aaron said. We're probably looking for 82 as the temperature for today. So that's not too bad. Also, lower humidity for you to deal with today, too. So that's another good sign. Sounds good. And pretty much the same for the next couple of days. Sunny, mid-80s tomorrow. A little warmer, back up to 90 on Saturday. But again, a good sunny day on Saturday. And sunshine most of the day on Sunday, although some clouds and showers could come in Sunday afternoon or evening. Temperature on Sunday roaming around 90. So basically, good swimming weather. I'll be getting into the pool with my little buddy here sometime later today. Somebody asked me yesterday, if you swim in the pool all day, don't you do any kind of work? I do. Actually, I went into the radio station for a while yesterday, had some business to attend to there. And then I spent the afternoon, going a little swimming with a little buddy. And then I'm the kind of guy, somebody asked me this too, because I post my Wordle response.
Howard.
Yeah.
I told the bosses we had a business lunch. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, that's right. As I mentioned, Bob Slider and I had a very important business lunch. We went, where did we go?
We went to Generations.
Yeah, Bob Slider and I had a very important business lunch yesterday. I went to Generations and conducted a lot of business and hopefully helped to bring the radio station much money and success and high reputation. And that's actually what I did yesterday, and forget the pool and all that kind of stuff. I didn't business, pure business. Sorry, Bob, I forgot.
That's all right, Howard. It's all good. Boy, wasn't lunch good? It was hot, but we had chili. What's wrong with us?
Generations does have, of course, I helped to judge those. So, although I don't think theirs was my selection this year, but they have the absolute best chili in town. I mean, you cannot go wrong with Generations chili. It was just tremendous.
It's, for me, it works like this. I don't browse through the menu. If they tell me the special, sometimes I'll go there. Inside, a little inside baseball there.
There's a little story about that.
But anyway,
yes.
a place like that, I don't even look at the menu. I know what I like, and I go with it. And, I wear the chili out. I get it every single time.
A new report out, and since you bring that up, I had this on my desk for a couple of days, maybe take time to talk about it. It was done by DoorDash, so this has to do basically with people ordering out, not in. Still, a large number of people who order never try anything new when ordering food. They always tend to get their same thing. And you and I have talked about this before, Bob. Occasionally, I'll go to a place we've been before, and I always get the same thing and the same thing and the same thing. And then I'll go in and I'll say to myself, oh, come on, Howard. I always get the same thing all the time.
You call an audible. You say you're going to do something.
Different. I don't want the same thing. I want something different. And invariably, I say, why did I do that? Why didn't I just stick with what I know to begin with?
It's even stronger than that, Howard. You will call the play in the huddle. You'll say, hey, let's go there. And we're all set. We're driving, and then you'll call an audible. At the last minute, it's like Peyton Manning walking up to the line. What did he used to holler out? Oklahoma or Omaha or something like that. You change the play. Sometimes it's like you got to make a hard right because you see a sign or something. You're one of those impulse guys. You have a flash of a hamburger or something.
This week.
You're right, and you say, no, let's go there.
Bob and I were on our way. I decided I was in the mood for breakfast for lunch. So you all know probably what I was aiming for. Sausage, gravy, and biscuits. So I thought, let's go get some sausage, gravy, and biscuits. And we were on our way. We debated where to go. Could we go? Thought about Rachel's on 16th Street, but it was later than in the afternoon. I didn't know if they still serve breakfast that late. Plus, Bob and I like to go to a place where we can kind of hang around and have business conversations.
Lots of business. Lots of business,
so
yes.
Don't want to go to a place with few tables where we have to get up and give them their table back quickly. So we're on our way to Bob Evans, right? And I said, because I'm on sausage gravy, business sausage gravy, sausage. Let's go there. All right. And Bob drives, and we're going. And we come up on Perkins. I mean, literally, we're at the entrance to the Perkins parking lot, and I go, wait, go here.
You grabbed the steering wheel, Howard.
I decided I was in the mood for Eggs Benedict, which I have been having a taste for, and it just popped into my head. I knew Perkins had them. So we went in, and please don't get me wrong, the Eggs Benedict were fine. Perkins is a great place. But after I had my Eggs Benedict, what did I say, Bob?
I wish I'd have went with the sausage gravy.
Exactly right.
So the point of the story is don't change your mind. If you get that image in your head, your mouth starts watering. That's what you want. Go with it. Don't change your mind, Howard.
Yeah, when you've got it in your head, this is what I want, and you're going someplace, and just stick with it.
See, I think Big Brother's really messing with you. I think he's in your ear, and what's that called? Like when they flash pictures of something? Subliminal? Yeah, I think you're one of those guys, Howard. I think they're in your head and in your eyeballs.
In this DoorDash survey, they tracked how people ordered over a 2-year period of time. Do they change things? Do they keep things the same? 46% of the people say they get bored of ordering the same things. 44% say they'd like to be introduced to new things. 40% say they like treating themselves to a more indulgent option occasionally. I guess that means instead of having a burger, you get a double burger or something. I don't know. 35% say they'd pick something new if they had a good price or promotion on it. And that's true. I will do that. I'll think I'm going to go someplace, but I get there and they've got some kind of a promotion on something else, right? Another item, it's a particularly good deal. I'll give that a try. But I'm going to tell you, and because we have lunch together so frequently, the 90% of the time, if I go and order something that I hadn't been thinking about, or if I order something that's not my usual, I'm disappointed. Not that the food is bad, it's just it isn't what I wanted, what I was expecting. So, yeah, try something different when you can. How do we start on that? There was something I started on. How do we start having that conversation?
I can't remember now.
I don't remember. We just got to.
Oh yeah. You kind of blew our cover. You said you spent the day in the pool, and I had to remind you. Well, we had a pressing business we had to attend to first, Howard.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. 8:17 here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Nice warm morning, pleasantly warm morning, sunshine streaming in all day. We're going to talk about the gas tax. We're going to talk about patriotism today. We're going to talk about the January 6th hearings. We're going to talk about some of the improvements that are being planned at the West Banco Arena and Capitol Theater as a result of the federal money that was passed through to them from the City Council earlier this week. I got all of that coming up, and whatever's on your mind, text me or call me. Again, 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600, or 304-232-8255. I think everybody's kind of enjoying the nice weather because it's been kind of a quiet day on the text line and the phone lines this morning, but you'll feel free to use them when the mood strikes you. It's 8:17 here on the Watchdog Morning Show.
Cybersecurity attacks can cripple and even force a small business to close. Does your organization have a focused approach to being cyber resilient? If you can't answer yes, you should contact Omni Strategic Technologies to help you identify the steps to protect your data and reputation from the very real cyber threats that exist today. Schedule your free consultation by calling Omni at 304-242-7600 or online at omniperforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only cybersecurity firm that the Watchdog trusts.
Hey, it's Jensen Lewis. As a former Major League pitcher, I pitch in all kinds of situations, and I would always study the matchups with the opposing team's roster. Some guys you could blow away with a fastball, other guys would buckle at the knees on a curveball. It's important to be in control and know what pitch to throw in every situation. When walking near a railroad track, know that the matchup with a train is never in your favor. Railroad tracks are for trains, and trains always win. Stay off the tracks and stay safe.
We are back, and we are looking at a pretty lopsided matchup, Jim.
That's right, Ron. I mean, in one corner, we've got a 175-pound guy, and in the other, a 6,000-ton heavyweight train?
Jim, this guy has no idea what he's getting himself into.
It's no contest. Every day, people tempt fate and die trespassing on railroad tracks. See tracks? Think train.
Frio Stack and Associates Auctioneers, Realtors, Certified Appraisers specializing in antiques, business liquidations, multi-parcel land auctions. Frio Stack and Associates is a regional business offering the executor, attorney, agent, and other individuals the most comprehensive and technologically advanced auction and appraisal services available. For information on our service, call our office at 304-233-3168 or email frioauc@aol.com. Frio Stack and Associates sells the earth and everything on.
It's the summer's hottest party, the Circus Saints and Sinners Party on the Plaza, presented by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. The fun happens Saturday, July 9th at the Plaza on Market in downtown Wheeling. Enjoy food trucks, beer and wine, and all-day live music starring Pittsburgh's No Bad Juju and Cleveland Rockers Trailer Park Ninjas, with special guest Spinning Jenny. Get tickets at partyontheplaza.org.
If you need local news, you trust WTRF TV. And you will find TV7 News all day, right here on The Watchdog. AM 1600 and 1370, FM 98.1 and FM 97.7, WKKX and WVLY.
Summer is here at your Toyota dealer. Check out Toyota's wide range of hybrid vehicles with incredible MPGs, like a new RAV4 hybrid with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever before. Or travel in style in a new Highlander hybrid with cutting-edge tech and plenty of space for the whole family. Visit buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. But hurry, offers end July 5th. Reserve yours today. Toyota, let's go places.
Great conversation continues now on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
It's 8:21, 21 after the hour, 67 at the airport, 70 at the home studios, 68 at the Robinson Auto Group studios downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley with a sunny and pleasant day in store today. It looks like we're having a kind of a slow start. Let's be honest about it, Bob. This is not the most exciting day of the week, right?
Well, we got a little time
we
left,
are
Howard. Yeah.
Well, we're having a good time. And I always say the most important thing about people say, what's the radio show about? It's about me having a good time. I'll be honest about it. But it's because it's slow day on the phone line, slow day on the text line. But apparently we're not the only ones having trouble putting things together today. Hoppy Kirchwell is back today. Hoppy's been gone for, I think, a week, maybe a little more than a week. But he's back in the big chair today on statewide talk line. But just sent me the schedule of guests, and it's got almost nothing in it. His guests have been dropping out. We've had this before, Bob. We understand. He's had several guests that he had scheduled, planned for the morning. They've already dropped off, can't make it, and so he's scrambling, trying to put together some things for his show too. So I feel like we're not alone, and maybe it's just one of those days, huh? Everybody's going to the pool. Everybody's thinking about the pool or what have you. But Hoppy Kirchwell is back. That in itself is worth tuning into at 10:06 this morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. On this January 6th hearing business, and let's get to serious again, from food to politics. January 6th committee hearings have been underway for a little over a week now, and I think they have really made very powerful points. They have really built a strong case that there was bad juju on January 6th, that there were people there who intended to create trouble. There were people there who intended to destroy democracy. They intended to overturn the legitimate results of an election. There was an intent there. I'm not talking about Donald Trump necessarily, but the people who were there intended to do that. It was a bad deal. And the committee has been putting a great deal of information together. In the past week, we've talked with Matt Robeson, our political consultant, Tom Squitieri, our national correspondent. He and I, we all have talked about what the outcome of this is going to be. And one of the questions that everybody sort of kicks around, will Donald Trump be charged with any kind of a crime? And I know that a lot of you far-right, conservative Trump cult worshipers believe that it's foolish to even think about that. But I noticed that even on Fox News, they are considering that possibility. Now, Fox News is not going to say Donald Trump should be accused of a crime, but they're talking about it. Neil Cavuto, one of the Fox News hosts, says the January 6th committee hearings make Trump look, and I quote, just awful. That's a good way to say it. Says Cavuto, if you knowingly make statements that you know are not true, and they're proven untrue, and yet you still make the statements, maybe even if you're personally convinced you're in the right, at what point does this cross a constitutional line and maybe a legal one? And that is the big question at hand here. The committee has really boxed the president in. There is no way he can claim that he did not know the election was not fraudulent. Multiple family, friends, and advisors of his, including his own Attorney General Bill Barr, told him over and over again, Mr. President, you lost. Mr. President, there was no widespread fraud. Mr. President, this election was not stolen from you. And yet he keeps on, then and now, repeating the big lie. So, Cavuto asks, if you knowingly make statements that you know aren't true, and they're proven untrue, and you still make the statements, have you crossed a constitutional line? Thomas Dupree was one of the guests on with the Cavuto this week, and he said that Trump could cross a legal line if you're making the false statements in conjunction with the certification of an election. Okay, and that certainly is what was happening here. He was making false statements about what happened during that election, even when he had been told his statements were untrue over and over again. He was trying to decertify the elections. Also, Dupree says, if you're trying to corrupt the court or things of that nature, you could be crossing the line into criminality. My problem is, it's tough for me to imagine in America that we will ever have what's the word, Bob, guts, I guess, to criminally charge an ex-president. I know a lot of people joke. Well, they don't joke. They're serious, saying, I'd love to see Donald Trump in an orange jumpsuit. It is an image I don't think Americans are ready to have yet. So I can't. And so people are saying, why doesn't Merrick Garland begin to take some action and so on? I just don't think that it's something that this country is ready for. I don't think we're ready to have a president in an orange jumpsuit. But again, they're even on Fox News, they're talking about it. On another Fox show, former U.S. Assistant Attorney Andrew McCarthy was asked by the Fox News host, is the panel accusing Donald Trump of conspiracy to defraud the United States? McCarthy said, probably not, but the most plausible crime is obstruction of Congress by refusing to testify and by refusing to let some of his people testify. I don't know. Bob, do you think that in this country we'll ever arrest an ex-president?
No, not at all. I mean, you said it's an image. I think you can see that image. I just don't see the reality of it. I just can't see it. And I don't want to see it. I don't want to see my ex-president, whether he's a Democrat or a Republican. I don't want to see him go to jail. They didn't put Nixon in jail. I was just a little boy, but I felt, well, we didn't want that.
Well, the Nixon comparison is a really good one. And Nixon also was pardoned right away. Gerald Ford pardoned him for crimes because he said that he didn't want to have this country go through the image of an ex-president being a criminal. And I can picture it. I mean, as you said, I can picture Donald Trump in an orange jumpsuit, and I firmly believe he committed crimes. But the image, and I'm not talking about just getting in your head, I'm talking about the image of having a former president of this country in chains, in handcuffs, in the orange jumpsuit. What does it say to the world? Some of you I know are going to say, well, it says that we are a country of laws and even the president can't break the law. I hear that. And I don't think we've ever come close to the situation we're in with Donald Trump. But I have a tough time thinking that. First place, I don't think it will happen. And second place, I'm not sure it could happen. Again, Ford, well, first of all, Nixon admitted his faults and he resigned. Big deal, big difference there. Even though there were criminal actions I think he was involved in, he admitted and he resigned. And he was pardoned by Gerald Ford. I can't conceive of Joe Biden pardoning Donald Trump. I think the politics of this country are too great. So the simple answer is just don't even charge him. But we'll see. He is facing some other criminal investigations right now. But again, the point of what I was doing here was even Fox News is saying that Trump was guilty. Bob, we have a phone call.
We do. We have Ted Valentine on hold.
Ted, good morning, sir.
Yes?
Ted, good morning, sir.
Good morning. You don't have to call me sir. My dad was sir.
Okay. Well, I am. Despite what people think, I try to be a polite talk show host.
It's okay. It just shows you that you respect your elders. I appreciate that.
Well, at my age, I have so few elders. I like to show respect. Yes.
Yeah.
What's on your mind?
Well, I was just calling in. I was returning the call from the other day. It was a pleasure to be in the Valley last week. It was like a homecoming. Every time I come home, I always think about all the people that I came up with.
And do you still love the Valley?
Yes, I make it a point to get there like 3 times a year. I just like coming back. I like reminiscing. I just like the whole area. I still tour it. I think about where I came from, and but it's always good to go back and remember.
Teddy, I got to jump in here a minute. Howard is not the sports guy. I don't know where we got crossed up. I don't know if you're returning a call from the sports guy on Saturday, but okay, now we're getting our wires back connected because we didn't expect your call, and Howard is not here in the studio, so he didn't really understand what was going on. So that's what we have, Howard. Hey, Ted is a John Marshall grad. He went on and became really well known in Division I basketball. Known way back in the 80s for his run-ins with Coach Bob Knight at Indiana. So that's what's going on here, Howard.
Yes, Howard, that's what it is. And, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I just noticed that, you were talking, there was a thing about the president being in a jumpsuit. But I always wondered, would they put a referee in a jumpsuit? That's what I've always wondered, So I've just always wondered that. But it's always good to come back to the Valley. I'm sorry that the wires got all crossed, and I apologize. But I spoke to him on Monday, and I got cross-wired or whatever.
Hey, we all get cross-wired. I certainly understand that. But I do appreciate your returning the call and appreciate you calling back. It's always good to have folks coming back to the Valley. What do you when you come back to the Valley? What is it you come back for? What do you see your friends and so on? But what is it about the Valley that you find special?
Well, it's just that I grew up there, knew a lot of people. My dad was from St. Clairsville. My mom was from Moundsville. John Marshall High School. The legend coach Bob Montgomery that coached and taught me, and I coached with him in the state championship at John Marshall in 1985, the lone championship that they've ever won, and it has great memories of being around. I used to play golf with L.C. Greenwood of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was just something that it has resonated with me as I've gotten older. That I'm very grateful where I came from and the people that put the time in for me.
As you get older, Ted, is that what you use the summertime months for? A time to rest those older ankles and feet now, and come home and visit with folks?
Well, a lot of people don't know. I'm in a fitness class, a training class every morning at 7:30, and that's how I stay in the top condition. But I like coming home to visit people like Bob Huggins, who just got in the Basketball Hall of Fame. I just love going home. I love to visit my mom's gravesite, my dad's gravesite, my grandmother's, and I go back to where I grew up, the same house, and I just like going down that memory lane of just remembering. Because sometimes it's easy for us to make it somewhere and we move on and we forget about our past that was behind us. And I've always endured my past to where it has catapulted me to.
Ted, we all have a nostalgia for our past, and I think we all look back and remember the way it was when we were kids and stuff, whether we've left the valley and come back or have stayed here all the time. We still look back and say, boy, I remember things that were there. But being away, coming back from time to time, what's your attitude? I mean, how do I want to phrase this? Does it depress you to see how things have changed? Setting aside the nostalgia, setting aside that, boy, this is where I grew up. You look around, the valley is very different from the days you were here on a, how do you feel about that?
Well, I get a little bit depressed because I know what it once was when I driven through downtown Moundsville, when I've driven down through Wheeling, West Virginia. I can remember when that was a very thriving area. Driving through Weirton, I remember it was just a lot of industry.
Yeah.
And in a way, it kind of like touches me that so much is left there. And it kind of like gets to me. It is almost like it's like a time warp in a way that I always wondered that the talent that's probably still there, that's around there. And it really gets to me because I grew up in the era where it was a very thriving community, a lot of proud people, because my dad was a coal miner, and my dad worked at the power plant. My mom worked at Mark's Toy Factory next to up near where John Marshall High School is, and it's just that there's not anything there like anymore. It's just kind of depressing, and it really hits me really hard. It does.
You know what I'm thinking while you're talking about this? All of those things are true, and I feel all of that all the time. And, the businesses are very different. Streets of Wheeling, I remember when they were so crowded at Christmas time, you literally couldn't get across the street on a single street light. I mean, Weirton, when Weirton Steel was big, it was a gigantic steel town. But you know what I'm thinking? There is one thing that has not changed since the days when you were here as a student. Do you know what that was? What that is? Bob, I bet you know what I'm thinking about.
I'm sorry, Howard, I was doing something.
It's the Valley's love of sports.
Oh, big.
We still love our sports.
Yes. You are absolute. I've seen a couple games there, and the Valley since the pandemic has subsided. That everybody has to have something to look forward to. But sports has always been big there.
Listen, Ted.
The businesses may be different. The people may be different. There may not be as many miners as there used to be. There certainly aren't, I guess, any or many steel mills around. Everything. Walmart is now our biggest employer, not Weirton Steel. Lots of things have changed, but one thing that has not changed is this valley loves its sports of all kinds. We go out, we support, we play, we cheer, and that has been universal for decades and decades, and that hasn't changed.
Right, absolutely.
Ted,
I noticed they have a game of the week on Fridays because I attended Brook John Marshall High School last year, and they had a game of the week on the air on like on Fridays, and I thought that was something that was unique and a whole lot different.
Here at the radio station, we do 2, sometimes 3 high school football broadcasts a week. I mean, again, sponsors clamor to get into them because it's a really important thing people listen to and attend. It's just, I couldn't help but think about it when talking to you and then thinking about all the changes. The one thing that has been a constant has been the love of sports here in the Valley.
Right, absolutely.
And Ted, in my neighborhood there in Elm Grove, basketball was king, to my chagrin. And there, when you started out, when Kenny Lewis and Drew Prohaska and I would get together, and we would say, hey, did you see Ted last night on ESPN? Did you stay up and watch that last game? Did you watch Ted? And then we would see you in the summertime because you would be a referee in our softball games, and all we wanted to do was talk to you about basketball and your run-ins and the big games. And all those years, Ted, you made us really, really proud, and I mean that. And I want to thank you for that, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, hey, any sunshine that I can give, you need to thank my mother, my father, Willie Nevels, Reverend Willie Nevels, Loma Nevels. They always taught me that you, and my teachers and coaches, that you never forget where you came from, and you never made it. I didn't make it by myself. I didn't make it by myself. I didn't make it by myself, and I couldn't have done it if I wasn't afforded the opportunity and to work some of them games at Elm Grove and Bridge Street and Wheeling Junior High and Sherrard and, Benwood. But I never would have made it if I didn't, have the Valley behind me. And I'm very grateful and I'm very thankful. And anything I can do to shed some sunshine upon it, I'll continue to do it.
Hey, Ted, we got our wires crossed to start with, but this has been great conversation. I appreciate your being here, even if you were here by mistake. For me, it was really, really good talking to you. I appreciate it very much.
Well, I really do appreciate it, and I hope to run into you again, or run into you guys again somewhere along the way, because I will be back there eventually.
All right, very good. Thanks for your calling in today. Thanks for the good conversation. I appreciate it. Have a good day. 8:41, 19 to the hour here on the Watchdog. Well, I caught me unawares there, Bob.
Yeah, I just thought he was passing through and wanted to chime in. I didn't. I guess I didn't screen enough. I should have. I just thought he was chiming in. I didn't know.
That's
so
all right.
It was great.
It
Thanks,
was
Ted.
good
Thanks for calling in.
But I never put that in perspective, what I just said there. Never thought about that. Because we talk about all the changes, Bob, you and I do, and we talk about the way things used to be and the things that when we grew up and how it was different and blah, 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 blah. And business and industry are so different and the mines are not what they used to be and the steel mills are gone and downtown Wheeling is a shell of itself. We talk about all of those things. But the one thing that has stayed constant has been the way this valley loves sports. I mean, we're a Friday Night Lights town, right?
And you go way, way, way back. I mean, after the Civil War, baseball started around here, and it just, you're right. And every community is a little different, but they all have that in common. They'll basically shut the town down on a Friday night if their team's playing at home.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about that, but it was an interesting, it just sort of hit me as I'm talking to Ted that, there's been a huge change, but the one thing that hasn't changed is how we love our sports. And we love them of all variety. I mean, 30 years ago, hockey wasn't a big deal here. Now it's a big deal, both with the Nailers, the Penguins, and so on. Kids grow up with hockey. Now my kid's playing soccer, But the sports sometimes change and modify a bit. But the love of sports for the Ohio Valley is still about as great as you can get. And I think somewhere, it was in television, but I think somewhere we ranked like number 1 or maybe number 2 in the country for interest in sports. And that makes sense because...
Well, they're talking to me.
I guess what is it?
Because I watch a lot of sports. I'm not a fanatic that I used to be. I look at the clock and say, I only got so much time here. But the Steelers, I still love them as much as ever. And, still, sometimes they hit home. Hockey's big. But I backed off a lot, Howard. What does it take to get Howard Monroe to watch a sporting event? Super Bowl only? Something like that?
Yeah, mainly the big events, probably. Thinking out loud here, obviously, I do watch Steelers when they're playing. I mean, I'm a hometown kind of guy. I so badly want to be a Pirate fan. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I want to be a Pirate fan. I really do. I grew up as you did in the era of, the superstars of the Pirates and their heyday of winning and everybody listened to them. I guess that's somewhat nostalgic. It's not, but every day I still do check the scores to see how the Pirates are doing, and I want to be a Pirate fan. And baseball it's funny because baseball is not the most exciting sport. I don't care what team you're for. And yet it is the one that I kind of enjoy watching the most when I do watch it. Maybe because it is kind of a, slower sport. I don't know. I guess I can go get a hot dog easier than I can when I'm watching football or something. So, yeah. But sports have continued to be the through line, or the heart line of the Ohio Valley. All right, I am way behind time on this, and I apologize for that. Let's get some headlines in here, get a little sports for you, a little more conversation to go. We are the Watchdog Morning Show here on a Thursday morning. Stephanie is here, and she's got the Ohio Valley headlines. Good morning, Stephanie.
Good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm Stephanie Grinley with your 7 News headlines for June 23rd. At commission last night, residents affected by Appalachian Power's and Wheeling Power's proposal to bump up rates brought up questions and concerns. Senators and delegates spoke, saying this is not the time for a rate increase. 170 letters were sent showing opposition in the increase. The power companies are asking for around $300 million. That's an increase of about $13 a month, and according to the Public Service Commission Chairman Charlotte Lane, that's high. AEP says they need this for fuel cost recovery. While we wait for the Commission's final decision, an evidentiary hearing in Charleston will first take place on August 2nd. The Hancock County Sheriff's Office needs your help finding out what led to a shooting incident Tuesday night in Weirton. Sheriff deputies responded to Kings Creek Road, where a person was shot in the lower back. Officials are asking residents on Kings Creek and the surrounding areas that have security cameras to please contact the Sheriff's Office. If you want to remain anonymous, you can text a tip to 847-411. President Biden pushed a new initiative for Congress to consider a temporary end to the gasoline tax. He asked lawmakers to pause the monthly 18-cent premium on each gallon and called on states to do the same. The president accused oil companies of profiteering and not producing enough for consumers. However, members of both parties have said they are not in favor of a short-term discount. Drivers we spoke with in the Ohio Valley had mixed feelings. Some were for a freeze and some wanted more information. That was a look at your 7 News headlines. I'm Stephanie Grinley. Have a great Thursday, everyone.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog. I'm John Thayer. Baseball action yesterday. The Reds fell at home to the Los Angeles Dodgers, 8-4 the final score. The Reds had an early 3-0 advantage before the Dodgers got the offense rolling. The Reds with the setback dropped to 23-45 on the season. The Nationals and Orioles were delayed twice yesterday due to rain, and eventually the game was shortened to just 6 innings. The Orioles were winners over the Nationals 7-0. 11 hits for the Orioles, just 3 for Washington. Tyler Wells earned the win for Baltimore. He improves to 5-4. Patrick Corbin suffered the loss for Washington. He's 3-10. Pirates were blown out at home by the Cubs 14-5. For lightning fast sports updates as they happen, download the free Score app today. I'm John Thayer with the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog.
Chances are you're jamming in your car right now. And since Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance so you only pay for what you need, Limu and I are going to show you some safe car dance moves. Hit it. Everybody, check your blind spots real quick. Now hands on the wheel. Put them 10 in 2 and move your head like a bird do. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Whether you're working in an office or remote, Staples has your tech.
New AirPods so I can turn up the music and tune out distractions.
Staples has your tech.
A Wi-Fi extender for faster downloads? A portable keyboard so I can work from anywhere.
Staples has you covered with tech solutions and accessories, from the latest laptops to networking solutions. And now, Apple AirPods Pro are just $199. You save $50. The latest tech solutions are at Staples, the working and learning store. N625 limit 2 while supplies last.
It's the summer's hottest party, the Circus Saints and Sinners Party on the Plaza Music and Food Festival. The fun happens Saturday, July 9th at the Plaza on Market in downtown Wheeling. Get tickets at partyontheplaza.org.
We are compassionate.
We are focused.
We are confident.
We are dependable.
We are resilient.
We are skilled.
We are empathetic.
We are knowledgeable.
We are respectful.
We are here.
For you and your family.
We are close to home. We are
WVU Medicine.
We're on air, online, on video, and on demand. Find us where you like us. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
.50, 10 till the hour, Watchdog Morning Show. Bob, you were talking earlier about calling an audible. I'm calling an audible on the topic stuff here this morning. I had planned to do some more serious stuff. I wanted to get into some of the new things we're learning about why it took so long for police to respond and to take any action in the Uvalde school shooting a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to get into a little bit about the gas tax and January 6th. But you know what? I think for at least this segment, I'm doing it. I'm calling an audible. I'm going to do a couple of lighthearted things instead. Got a couple of stories that are sitting on my desk. Some have been here for a while, so I thought it might be kind of fun. This one has of interest to me because I'm one of these guys. When was the last time you went to the dentist, Bob?
Wow. Well, probably when I got my jaw broke. Lost a couple teeth.
Which was?
It's been a couple years ago.
A handful of years. New poll says that about 25% of all Americans have not been to a dentist in over 5 years, and for many of them, it is closer to 10 years. 22% have not been to a dentist in at least 5 years. 7% say that more 10 years. 2% of the people surveyed say they have never gone. Now, you're supposed to go to the dentist twice a year. I am learning this now, because I am now trying to deal with some teeth problems. You all know that. I had a root canal and a tooth pulled the other day. Got all kinds of work that has to be done. And I've been getting yelled at aggressively because even in the past year or so, since I've been seeing that, you're supposed to see us at least every 6 months. When were you here last? And that's, by the way, Bob, that's when you go, oh, I don't know. You know, it hadn't been all that long. I mean, and then they go, well, we'll just chuck the records. It's been 12 months. Where have you been? It's like, geez. When I was a kid, I had one of those dentists who was like Dr. Mengele, you know. I mean, with the big hairy arms, and I swear he just put pliers in there and went to work. I mean, it was painful. It was horrible. He had no personality. It was ugly. It was just miserable. And my parents did make sure I had my teeth taken care of well when I was a kid, up to high school. And when I graduated and went away to college, I never went to see a dentist again. I didn't see a dentist for 20, 30 years. Then I had to go and get a tooth pulled. I had a bad impacted tooth once, and they pulled it, and that was it. But finally, this year, I decided I needed to get some more done. So I went, and now we're going through this whole in-depth process of trying to fix what should have been fixed all along. And I'm now getting yelled at because you're supposed to go to the dentist every 6 months, and I haven't done that. Only a third of the people surveyed in this poll say they see a dentist in the past 6 months. So y'all, if you haven't been to see a dentist in over 5 years, you're not alone, but probably you should. And when I saw that survey, I just thought, man, it's me. It's me. And we know, I have some guests on, in fact, who talked about this before, wrote a couple books on this subject. Dental health is tied to your regular health. Bad teeth can lead to bad health, but we don't pay enough attention to it. Why don't you go to the dentist, Bob?
Well, Howard, I used to care, and then I had an accident, and then had a hole in my teeth, and I had all planned out and started the procedure of getting implants. Yeah. And then the job that I had, which the insurance was based through there, we hit a glitch, and just never, until I can get the implants, it's like, well, I'll just take care of myself.
I think probably the answer to my question, why don't you, or the generic you may have hit the nail on the head. Dental insurance is not covered by most places. We have some dental insurance, but it's not covered under my Medicare plan. We had to add that dental insurance, and it's not a lot. It's not covering all the work I have to get done, but at least it's somewhat. I think cost is a big deal, and it's interesting that we don't consider dental health tooth health to be as important as our general health.
I
And in
don't-
point
I
of
don't- I
fact,
don't know why
again,
they-
one connects to the other.
I don't know why they exclude that. It's all part of our body. I mean, is that, think about this for a second, because I just did. Is that the only part of our body that's kind of excluded where your other insurance, like your heart, your insurance covers your heart, right?
I think the only two things that you generally don't get automatically covered. Now, obviously, I do understand some of you listening going, Howard, I have no insurance. I get that. And if you have a really inexpensive plan, it may not cover everything. But sort of the general middle class insurance, everything, Bob, except teeth and eyes. Generally, eyes have to be an additional
Well, who
coverage.
came up with that rule? I mean, because
That's a great question.
You need. I thought it would be more. They wouldn't recognize mental health. Like if you went wackadoo, they would say, "Well, you're on
Well,
your own."
that's also out there. Yeah, that's.
But it's all important. I mean, your brain, your eyes, your teeth, it all works together. And like you said, Howard, if you don't take care of your teeth, it affects your heart. It affects your general well-being.
And I have somewhat of an answer to your question. Again, I had on a couple of years ago, authored a book about dental health, and apparently once upon, here we go with divisions again. I won't call it political divisions, but once upon a time, the dental schools and the, I don't know what you call them, but the regular medical schools were rivals for each other. And one of them had greater control of, the insurance industry and so on. And dentistry, as big as it was shuffled off to sort of the secondary science, the secondary doctors. They're not real doctors after all. They are, of course, but they're not real doctors after all. And it was because of that clash between traditional medical doctors, traditional MDs or DOs, and the dentists. And there was a decision made a long time ago to treat them differently. And I think we're learning more and more about the connection between our whole body. I mean, our whole body works. I don't want to sound too, new agey here, but our whole body works together holistically. And I think almost everybody knows if you have a bad tooth, you probably have an eye ache. You know what I'm saying, Bob? Or you have a headache.
Everything hurts.
Yeah, and it all connects. But if you don't, dental coverage is often not included in any kind of coverage unless you pay extra for it. And as I say, in our family, we do, but it's not a lot. It's not covering all the work I have to have done. So again, I haven't been to the dentist for a long, and 10 more longs there, I think, time, because I had a bad experience with a dentist. And I suspect many people now just don't go because can't afford it.
And let's make this perfectly clear. If there's a dentist out there that wants to do you call that pro bono work in the dental field, Howard? If you're listening out there, yeah, and you want to save my smile, give me a call. We'll work something out. I just can't afford it right now.
Now, I think you can, I think I'm right about this, and somebody probably will text me if I'm wrong. I believe the dental hygiene school at West Liberty University, you can go and have your teeth cleaned by the students up there, dental hygiene students. And that's an option for people without insurance. That's something you can do. But yeah, Arthur, if you need a tooth pulled or you need implants or something, are there pro bono dentists out there? That's a good question.
How are those West Liberty students on like driving one back up in where it's supposed to be? Can they do that, Howard?
I had a tooth pulled just last week, 2 weeks ago it was. And I said to the dentist after he was in there and he was digging, and he was very, very nice, very skilled. The dental hygienist was tremendous. She's the kind, I told my wife later, she's the kind of dental hygienist or nurse you would see on, a TV show about doctors or nurses, because she was just as nice and polite and competent as could be. So this is no means criticism. But I said to the dentist afterwards, I said, I know that it requires skill and I know it requires training and knowledge. The bottom line is, you're still just basically up there digging a tooth out, aren't you? Yeah, it's kind of what it is. It's just a more sophisticated version of the pliers, But anyways, I digress. I had this little survey on my desk for a while. I thought we'd talk about it. Dentists, many of us have not been to a dentist in 5 years, some in 10 years, some a lot longer, and I'm raising my hand on that one. I want to talk about a new kind of donut for you. We'll do that coming up in the next hour, continuing a little bit of food talk. Then we are going to talk about patriotism. What is patriotism? What does it mean to be patriotic? new survey by Wallet Hub on the most patriotic states caught my interest because it wasn't what I would have expected. And I'll share with you what the survey says. And Joe Gonzalez from Wallet Hub is coming in to talk about how they put it together. That's coming up next hour as well. Just about 9 o'clock here on the Watchdog Morning Show on a sunny, pleasant Thursday morning.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A change of leadership in Uvalde. The school district in South Texas now placed Chief Pete Arredondo on administrative leave while the actions he took during last month's mass shooting are investigated. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
Answers about the police response to the armed attack that claimed 21 lives at Robb Elementary have been hard to come by, raising the frustration level for people in Uvalde.
I just don't understand why they're being so slow with this investigation.
With much of the blame placed at the feet of Uvalde School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo.
He should never be allowed to work in law enforcement again, my personal opinion.
Now the superintendent has placed Arredondo on administrative leave. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Protesters are starting to gather at the U.S. Supreme Court again this morning as more opinions are handed down. Among the decisions it could release, one on the right to carry concealed weapons and one that could overturn Roe v. Wade. The January 6th Select Committee holding another public hearing today. Among those testifying, former Justice Department officials, including then Acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen. ABC's Rachel Scott is on Capitol Hill.
Sources say Trump attempted to install his own allies at top levels of the Justice Department to assist to push his false claims. To date, the Justice Department has found no evidence to back up Trump's false claims about the 2020 election. We know they are following these hearings closely, and this morning we are learning they are broadening their investigation, issuing a new round of subpoenas.
The heads of big oil companies will be in Washington today discussing high gas prices. The White House accuses oil and gas manufacturers of holding supply back and not updating refineries.
The American Petroleum Institute blames the refinery shortage on the green energy push. Some older refineries have closed due to new environmental standards. And no new major refineries have been built in decades.
ABC's Jay O'Brien in Washington. So far, Congress has been lukewarm about President Biden's request to suspend the federal gas tax. You're listening to ABC News.
Chances are you're jamming in your car right now. And since Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance so you only pay for what you need, Limu and I are going to show you some safe car dance moves. Hit it. Everybody, check your blind spots real quick. Now hands on the wheel. Put them 10 in 2 and move your head like a bird do. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
Rescued in Ukraine, an American nuclear scientist who hid for months in the midst of the Russian invasion. John Spohr was able to make it out of the besieged city of Mariupol all the way to Poland. ABC's James Longman is in Ukraine.
The team, led by American nonprofit group Project Dynamo, working with local Ukrainian security. Spohr had been living in Mariupol for several years before the Russians invaded. And as Putin's forces laid siege to the city, Spohr went into hiding. Project Dynamo says Spohr was considered a high-value target because of the sensitive nature of his work, particularly in laser-guided weapon systems.
8 people now facing charges in connection with the death of a soccer legend.
Diego Maradona died of cardiac arrest in 2020 while recovering from surgery. His autopsy said he died of natural causes, but after pressure from the soccer star's family, prosecutors in Argentina began an investigation into the medical team responsible for his round-the-clock care. In 2021, a medical board found the staffers acted in a, quote, inappropriate, deficient, and reckless manner. Now the 8 doctors and nurses will be tried for homicide, according to a ruling released on Wednesday. No date's been set yet for the trial, but it's not expected to begin until the end of next year at the earliest. Claire Bauer, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk in Rio de Janeiro.
And police in Atlanta investigating after someone apparently stole $100,000 in cash from the home of former NBA star Vince Carter. He told police he normally keeps the cash in his closet in a bag. This is ABC News.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth. Step out of the car, please. I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
This is ON. I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network. President Joe Biden is calling for a 3-month tax break on gas prices.
Every time you go to the gas station to fill your tank, the federal government charges an 18-cent tax per gallon of gas that you purchase and a 24-cent tax per gallon of diesel you purchase. It's a tax that's been around for 90 years.
Biden also wants states to suspend their taxes on gas. In Ohio, that's 38.5 cents on gas and 47 cents on diesel. Biden's plan is not a certainty. Even some of his fellow Democrats oppose it. In Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine has previously resisted efforts to suspend any portion of Ohio's tax on gasoline. Thousands of Ohioans are about to collect a check from Carnival Cruise Line.
The company just settled for over $1 million in a multi-state investigation involving a data breach. 4,000 Ohioans were among those who had their personal information exposed in 2019. They'll collect a total of $48,000 from Carnival. Meanwhile, the cruise line has agreed to strengthen its response plan, require security training for employees, beef up its network security, and undergo a security assessment. For ONN News, I'm Kate Burdett.
Youngstown State University has announced Jim Tressel will step down as president effective on February 1st next year. The former Ohio State football coach is 69. I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
304-214-1600. Call the Watchdog with your thoughts. We'll be right back to Local Talk.
Summer is here at your Toyota dealer. Check out Toyota's wide range of hybrid vehicles with incredible MPGs, like a new RAV4 hybrid with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever before. Or travel in style in a new Highlander hybrid with cutting-edge tech and plenty of space for the whole family. Visit buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. But hurry, offers end July 5th. Reserve yours today. Toyota, let's go places.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Partly to mostly sunny skies, a high near 83. Partly cloudy skies through the overnight with a low near 56. Sunshine, just a few clouds around for your Friday. Temperatures near 85 for the afternoon reading. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Miss a part of the show? Want to hear a segment again? Check out our podcast page at watchdognetwork.com. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old past said. Boy, you got a friend in me.
Well, I hope you consider that to be the case. You got a friend in me and Mr. Slider as we spend our mornings with you every morning from 7 to 10 here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Spread the word. Have people come in and join us from time to time. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. And, you know, we kind of have fun. We're not too mean.
Are you Buzz or Woody?
Am I? Oh, I'm Woody. I am Woody. We play that here at the house all the time. No, I am the sheriff. Who would you be?
Hey, I'll be Buzz. That fits.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm definitely Sheriff Woody. There's a new sheriff in town. Oh no, we Teddy's kind of moved past Toy Story, although I don't know if he's going to go see the new Lightyear movie or not. Which that looks pretty good if you're a fan of Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear, how Buzz Lightyear began. But yeah, no, I've always been the sheriff.
Sure you don't want to be
And again,
Mr.
in his
Potato Head, Granddad?
I might be Mr. Potato Head, but it's not the character. No. I mean, it's very clear. You could ask Teddy, who is your granddad? He's the sheriff. I'm the sheriff. I'm the sheriff. There's a new sheriff in town. I'm trying to think of some of the other lines that are used. We have one of those little Woody dolls where you pull the string in the back and he says things. No, I'm definitely the sheriff. I like Buzz. You could be Buzz. I think you're more of a Buzz kind of guy, anyways. Let me rephrase that.
What's he say?
Let me rephrase that.
Yeah. What's
To infinity and beyond.
When Buzz comes out of the garage, what's he say? Yeah, that's it. Infinity and beyond and all that other stuff. One giant stuff for mankind, all that stuff.
If you are a Toy Story fan, actually one of my favorite characters is Rex the dinosaur. I just kind of like him. I think he's sort of cool. I like him. But whenever we play Toy Story, and again, Teddy's kind of moved a little bit beyond that now, but a couple of years ago we played Toy Story all the time. I would often play. I was always the sheriff. In fact, even today, sometimes he'll grab his little Toy Story characters, get a box and bring it out, and he'll dig out. Granddad, here's your buddy. Here's Woody, because I have always been Woody. So.
The sheriff.
It's not quite
the sheriff that didn't ride a horse because, well, he had a hard time getting up on one.
They're age-old questions, Bob. Ginger or Marianne, right? Bailey or Ronnie Anderson.
Jennifer Marlowe, yes.
Bailey or Jennifer on WKRP, and now it's. And this is the world that we are. This is the age I've reached. Now it's Buzz Lightyear or Sheriff Woody. The age-old questions. Hey, we were talking last hour about dentists, and I had a little poll on dentists, how many people don't go as often as they should, and telling my story, and you were telling yours. And we're talking about the cost of dentistry and why dentistry isn't a basic covered cost with most insurances. You have to have an add-on if you want to. Where can you go? We asked about pro bono work. I mentioned that West Liberty's dental hygiene students will do that. Someone texted me, and they're absolutely correct. Wheeling Health Right does dental work, too, for those who can't afford it. So Wheeling Health Right, that's relatively new, last year or so. I'd forgotten about that. So that's a good place, too. Need to get some work done, Bob? Maybe Health Right might be the place for you.
Well, Howard, I'm okay. We'll save that for the folks that are in pain, that type of thing. But I had a couple calls off the air. One reminded me one of my old softball teammates is now a dentist, so maybe he'll take some pity off, for me and help me out.
He probably knocked out your teeth with a softball.
Well, I'll say I got a bad hop here. Knock my teeth out. Help me out.
Text line, when is Old Monroe coming back into the studio? Never.
Yeah, when is that, Howard?
Never. This is the studio broadcast will be this studio broadcast. It is, it started when I was ill and had heart problems and couldn't, had to be homebound for a while. Then the pandemic came and kept us here. And now it is a perk of the trade. I'm sorry, at my age, at my part of my career, this is where I intend to be. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not at the radio station. I was down there much of the day yesterday. I'm down there a couple days a week. I do a lot of things. But morning show, right here. When is Old Monroe coming back to the studio? I ain't in that. I'm here.
Any chance we might...
Unless the power's out.
Any chance we might expand the home studio, and I could maybe, instead of driving all the way in here to town, I could just drive over there to your house and maybe could talk to Nancy into making us breakfast on those special occasions?
Well, let me say a couple things. First of all, I do like the idea of having breakfast. If there's one thing that I really do miss from being in the home studio, being at in the real studio, is that people would sometimes bring breakfast in. I do miss that. I do miss the people bringing in breakfast. So yeah, that's good. And secondly, believe it or not, Bob, we're actually working on plans that would expand the studio to allow guests to be here in the home studio, to be able to run the whole operation from here in the home studio. So maybe someday you won't have to drive so far.
That's what I'm thinking with gas prices, Howard. Hell, I could walk to your house in the morning.
That's exactly right. 304-214-1600 is the text line. Let me see what I have here. I got to pull it up and read it first because it is addressed to you, and that always scares me.
Uh-oh. Hope it's a dentist.
Just
tell me to come on down.
Yeah, it is. Just a repeat. Mr. Slider, Wheeling Health Right offers dental service. You should try there. Okay, very good. Thank you for that. All right, 9:14 here on the Watchdog Morning Show. I got every day, you all know this, I talk about it often, the folks at Wallet Hub, a financial website, send out every single day a list of the best and worst cities for home businesses, or the best and worst states for working dads, or all that kind of stuff. Every day, something different. It's just a fun conversation starter. Sometimes I use it, most times I don't. This week, I got the best and worst states for patriotism. And I looked at it, and there were a couple of things there that really caught my eye that didn't seem quite what I would expect, which got me thinking about what is patriotism? How do we define it? We've been talking about that a little bit this morning. And coming up next, I'm going to talk to Jill Gonzalez. She is with Wallet Hub about what they found as they tried to assess the best and worst states for patriotism, and what are some of the things they looked at to determine what states are patriotic. We'll do that coming up next here on the Watchdog Morning Show. It is a it is a cooler morning than yesterday, but it's still very nice outside. 69 at the airport, 73 right here. Going to go up to around 82 before it's over and done with. Sunshine and blue skies all day. 9:15 on the Watchdog Morning Show. Are you patriotic? Tell me why. We'll find out what patriotism means to Wallet Hub next, right here.
Babies come with lots of decisions.
Cloth or disposable? Crib or bassinet?
So when it comes to protection, go with the safest, most effective choice, vaccination. Get all the recommended vaccines for your baby by age 2 to protect your child against 14 serious childhood diseases. For more reasons to vaccinate, talk to your child's doctor. Go to cdc.gov/vaccines or call 800-CDC-INFO. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Why did I want to work for CEC? You mean besides the fact that they're a leader in the industries they serve, like environmental and civil engineering, air quality, and water resources? Or the fact we're employee-owned, so we share in CEC's success? Well, challenges get me fired up, and CEC's employees pride themselves in finding cool solutions that solve unique problems for our clients. We're always creating, using our expertise to save those clients money and meet their challenges. I've worked on sustainable landscape projects, nature centers, and with the shale oil and gas industries too. Another reason I'm with CEC? I love my West Virginia home, and I'm helping build her future close to my family.
Creative solutions that are building West Virginia's future and can build yours close to home. Find that opportunity with CEC when you go to cecinc.org/careers. CEC, big firm capabilities, small firm culture. cecinc.org.
If you missed us the first time, keep going. You'll find us just down the dial. AM 1600 and 1370, FM 98.1 and 97.7. We are the Watchdog.
Live and local for the Ohio Valley, the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Hey, it's a magical day today. Sunshine, blue skies, temperatures around 82. Much like yesterday, without the super heat and super humidity. We were into the 90s yesterday, and humidity was very high. It was a great pool day. Enjoyed playing in the pool with my grandson, but and we'll do that again today, by the way. But going to be a little cooler, less humid today. Sunshine all day long. Looking out the window of the home studios here, the sunshine is just beaming through, and it's going to stay this way over pretty much all weekend long. Tomorrow, Saturday, into Sunday, we'll see sunny skies, temperatures in the low upper 80s to the low 90s, and maybe a bit of rain on Sunday, but all in all, going to be a good weekend as well. 69 at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, 73 here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and 70 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. It's officially summer. We have crossed the summer solstice. We're officially in summer now. 4th of July, hard for me to believe, less than a couple of weeks away. And the folks and our friends at Wallet Hub came out with a list this week. They do it every year around this time on the most patriotic states in the country. And I glanced over it, and I found it kind of interesting. I found some things there a little different than I would have expected. And I thought maybe get a sense of how Wallet Hub puts this together and what they came up with. So I invited Jill Gonzalez from Wallet Hub to join us this morning. Jill, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I guess the question I want to ask is, what is patriotism? But I'll ask you from Wallet Hub's point of view, what did you look at to determine whether a state is the most or least patriotic state? How do you assess patriotism in your world?
Yeah, so this is, not a survey. We're not asking for opinions. We're looking at numbers here and facts and trying to be as scientific about this as possible. So we looked at 13 different indicators of patriotism, and a lot of that has to do with military engagement and civic engagement. So everything from the state's military enlistees and veterans to the share of people who did their civic duty, voted in the last presidential election, to things like AmeriCorps volunteers per capita. So, really military and what you're doing to fulfill your civic duty and privileges.
I think if I were just to go out and ask somebody on the street and I would say, are you patriotic? They'd say yes, and I'd say why. And they would say something like, I fly the flag on the 4th of July, right? I think there's some real basic things that we tend to think of as making us patriotic. But I look at this list of the 13 key indicators you guys have, and clearly patriotism is a much more complex concept than we tend to think of at first glance, right?
Yeah, I think especially when you're trying to, measure it from state to state, there's not exactly a good proxy for how many people put their flags out, right? But that certainly is, one other way to do it. But we try to look at it, across the board, who's really taking part in giving back to their country.
And I say it's more than flying the flag. It's whether you are a veteran, support veterans as a state, whether you have a lot of civic engagement. And I thought it was interesting, do you take part in the electoral process? One of the greatest patriotic things we can do is go vote, and far too many people still don't do that. So that was one of the factors that you looked at. Who's our most patriotic state?
The most patriotic state this year was Alaska. It ranked number 1, and a lot of that has to do with its military bases.
Okay. That's one of those ones that jumped out and it's like, Alaska? Not that I don't think they're patriotic. I spent a few weeks in Alaska a couple years ago, and I can sense some patriotism there, but I see, because of the large number of military bases they have there, so that's it. Let me jump down to the other end, if you haven't listened in front of you. Who's the least patriotic state?
The least patriotic was Arkansas across the board, but mostly for its civic engagement. Things like one of the lowest voter turnout in the country, not a lot of Peace Corps or AmeriCorps volunteers, so those things didn't help it out.
One of the findings that you had after analyzing all the states and then sort of taking a look at it is that, taken as a whole, blue states tend to be more patriotic on the scale than red states. That's one of the things that I guess made me raise my eyebrow. I am a blue guy, okay, but I tend to think of red states being the, fly the flag, America kind of states. It's interesting that taken as a group, the blue states were more patriotic than the red states.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, the blue states ranked 25th overall, and the red states ranked 26th. So very, very marginal difference. But when it comes to red states, I think where it kind of lost out here was voting, which of course was such a huge deal, or made to look like it was a huge deal in the 2020 presidential election. But the lowest voter turnouts were Alabama, South Dakota, Oklahoma, West Virginia, and Arkansas. The highest voter turnouts were New Jersey, Minnesota, Oregon, New Hampshire, Maryland, Wisconsin. So, largely blue states versus red states there.
If I remember correctly, and I had the poll it's not a poll or a survey, it's an analysis, but I had it here in front of me a few minutes ago, and I've lost it by stack of papers. If I remember correctly, West Virginia is neither best nor worst. Is that right?
Correct, but it is closer, I would say, to bottom 10. So West Virginia ranked 40th, out of all 50 states.
Hey, listen, I'm always just happy when we're not 49th. You know, that's the way I look at all these surveys. We often hear in West, I'm sure you can appreciate this, we often thank Mississippi for keeping us from the bottom spot in so many things. So it was interesting. So we're closer to the bottom than the top, no question about that. But we're not either the top nor the bottom 10. We're roaming around there closer to the bottom. Our neighboring state, Ohio, where do they come in?
Ohio did a little bit better at 29th.
So they're a little bit closer to the top. All right, almost make the top 25. Not quite, but almost make the top 25. What's the difference there? What do they have that we don't, or what are the things that give them a little edge up?
So Ohio ranked in the top 20 when it comes to that civic engagement. So voter turnout certainly helpful. Volunteerism helpful. I think, the difference could be Ohio possibly bringing in more young people because it's so university and college heavy. I think that might, make a little bit of difference there.
You're an analyst and look at numbers, but if I were to ask you, just define for me what patriotism is. What does it mean to you?
Well, I think, the characteristics of a good patriot is not simply, seeing what your country does and supporting it no matter what. I think being a good patriot is constantly wanting to have your country be better and, improve in every way it can and, taking part in that, trying to make it better actively. So I think that is really what a good patriot is.
I would certainly agree with that. I know there are some who say things like, my country right or wrong, and I don't feel that's patriotic. I think that patriots actually say, whew, boy, did we make a mess of this thing, whatever this thing might be. We're still the greatest country in the world, and I support it, and I love it, and I fly the flag, etc. But I'm also willing to say sometimes we really get things all messed up. And to me, that's an important part of patriotism, recognizing your country's own difficulties.
Absolutely. I think we're in agreement there.
I'm looking at some of the comments from some of the experts that were on the Wallet Hub report. Professor Ross Crawford from Ohio Northern University said, a good patriot loves his or her country and supports it in the face of challenges, but that does not mean unquestioning love, but deep regard that motivates making one's nation the best that it can be. And we were talking about this earlier, Jill, on the program. My executive producer there, Bob Slider, and Bob, you're welcome to chime in at any point, but Bob said that he thinks being a patriot is putting country first over partisan politics or over personal gain, that when you put the nation's interests at the top, that's what a real patriot is. Would you concur with that? And again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I know you're an analyst, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. I think that's, essentially what we were both saying as well. It's not necessarily, well, this is how it is, and I agree with this, but it's, well, let's think about this. I think that's the only way that America and most countries have ever gotten better in the past. So hopefully we can continue to do that.
Again, looking at some of the comments sent from Wallet Hub, professor at North Central College, Suzanne Chod, a patriot is someone who can see the flaws, inequities, and injustices in one's country and do what they can to address and rectify them. A patriot is someone who is committed enough to one's country to want to make it better for everyone. I think that's, again, a great definition of a patriot. And it's not what we tend to think of. Again, if I stopped you at the Kroger store while you're doing your grocery shopping and said, what is a patriot? I think people would say things like we fly the flags and so on. It is also interesting, Jill, in your criteria, the number of veterans and support for veterans are a critical factor that you used in determining a patriotic state, right?
Yeah, I think it's important, especially this time of year, we're kind of sandwiched between Memorial Day and Labor Day. We have 4th of July right in the middle. So much of that is based on, military enlistees, active duty, veterans, those in military reserves. So, that's important to, I think, look at year-round as well and see which states are, making good by them.
I think it is interesting, and I'm going to make this comment. You do not need to reflect or respond if you don't want to, but one of the problems we have in our country today is there is an effort afoot in many states, we had it in West Virginia and in Ohio, to sanitize our history a bit, to not look at our faults, to say we want to kind of turn a blind eye. Slavery is certainly the one that is often talked about. You know, it was a horrific thing. I mean, we just came through Juneteenth, the official end of slavery, or the last vestige of slavery. And people don't want to hear us talk about that. People don't like to hear talk about the fact that we were a country that accepted slaves for a very long period of time. Doesn't mean we're evil or bad. I don't suggest that. It just means it was a reality. And there's a real effort being made to sanitize that history, which concerns me greatly. Now, again, that's a political comment. I don't necessarily want you, or you're welcome to, but I'm not trying to put you on the spot here. But I think that's part of the problem we have, is sanitizing history. That's among the most unpatriotic things you can do.
I agree with that. And one of the categories that we look at here, and I have another live at 9:30, but one of the categories is, civics and history, and, making sure that there is, room for both in our schools. And that's one other, metric here that we looked at. And a lot of schools don't even have civics education requirements.
Exactly. Hey, Jill, I get mad when I'm doing one of these interview segments and somebody calls in late and they go, well, the last host kept me too long. I hate that. So I don't want to be that guy. So I will let you get on to the next interview you have. I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for your honesty. Thanks for the work. I get a great kick out of Wallet Hub every day. We don't always do interviews, but I almost every day, share the info because it's fun stuff for us to think about. And I appreciate your time today. Go find that other talk show host and don't blame me, okay?
Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Jill Gonzalez from Wallet Hub this morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. And I had to rearrange her scheduling a little bit. She had wanted to be on earlier in the week, and we had to move it to today because of my schedule. And so I guess she had somebody scheduled at 9:30. Bob, I hate that. Biff and I used to complain about it all the time. We would do these interviews where somebody is doing 2 or 3 interviews, different talk show hosts around the country, over the course of a day. And they would be late, and then they would say, oh, well, I'm very sorry, the last host kept me late. And I'm going, hey, that's his problem.
Well, at least you didn't say, hey, Jill, we're going to take a break. You don't care if we keep you over, do you? She just said no.
So I don't want to be that. I get really angry when we have one of these. We call them radio rows, when these people do a bunch of interviews all in the course of a morning. And when we do these radio rows and somebody is late, it just ticks me off. Not that I'm not flexible. It's just that they tend to be very, you need to be on the air at 9:20 and off at 9:30. This is very important. Timing is very important. Okay. And then they'll call at like 9:28. You're a little bit late. Well, the last host kept me. Well, why didn't you say goodbye? Although my favorite story about that, Bob, a number of years ago, you may have been around with me at the time. We were over in the old building before I joined with KKX. And I was interviewing Bill Clinton, President Clinton, former President Clinton at the time. And it was a big interview. I mean, I was lucky to snag an interview with Bill Clinton. It was great. And they were very specific with me. They said, look, I forget what it was. You have 8 minutes. No, that's it. You can't do any more time. 8 minutes. You've got to be out. If we're just going to cut you off. 8 minutes. That's it. And I said, fine. I certainly was happy to concur with that. I was pleased to interview the President Clinton. But I also wasn't dumb. And we came down to the last minute. I'm watching the clock, and I said, Mr. President, I have 1 minute left with you, and then I have to let you go. But, and I forget what I asked him, but I asked him a question that I knew he couldn't do in 1 minute. Well, he took 3 or 4 minutes after that, and I knew that when Clinton was the one doing the talking, they weren't going to cut him off. If it was me, if I had been talking at the shutdown time, they would have cut me off. And I was very clear. I said, Mr. President, I only have 1 minute. We only have 1 minute. But could you answer this question for me? Why, yes, I could. And he gave me a 3 or 4 minute answer. And I'm sure his handlers are probably swearing at me, but I did my duty. All right, 9:33, 27 till the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Coming up at 10 till the hour, we'll talk with Bob Westphal from the Big 7, WTRF TV, and see what they're working on today over at Channel 7, what stories they've got prepare for you for their news throughout the day today. Yes, news breaks during the day, and it's news that we can't predict, but then there's also stuff that we know they're going to work on. We'll see what Bob's got for us. Got a few items on the text line I'll share with you. And Mr. Slider, anything on your mind? We'll get to that coming up as well. But first, we check headlines here from Metro News.
West Virginia Metro News. I'm Chris Lawrence. There is a debate in Morgantown about a new gun shop.
The group Protect Morgantown's waging a petition campaign to prevent Big Daddy Guns from opening a location in downtown Morgantown. Company spokesman Nick Lahara says their company mission is to promote gun safety and training.
People see them as, weapons that are solely meant to kill, and we just see it differently. They are tools that we can utilize to protect us, our families, and our community.
The company has permits in place, but still must apply for a business license with the city. I'm Mike Knowlting for WVMetroNews.com.
FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board in Logan County this morning beginning their investigation into a helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 6 people. A Vietnam-era Huey helicopter went down along State Route 17 before 5 o'clock Wednesday evening in the Kelly Mountain area. Sonia Porter, Deputy Director of the Logan County Office of Emergency Management, confirmed the deaths to Metro News.
There were 6 individuals that occupied the helicopter, and they all were fatally killed.
The flight was part of an annual Huey reunion this week in Logan County. They were offering rides as part of a tourist attraction. Helicopter went up in flames and had to be put out by firefighters. The names of the victims have not been released. 2 people are behind bars in Boone County for allegedly breaking into the Ashford Grade School and stealing various items. 28-year-old Jeremy Barnett and 34-year-old Matthew Heiser, both from Ashford, are now accused of stealing a number of items, including 20 laptops. All have been recovered. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. More than 17,000 COVID vaccines for kids under the age of 5 should arrive in West Virginia by next week. State Health Officer Dr. Ina Amjad encourages parents to get their children vaccinated.
Young people still get sick. They can end up in the hospital. So we encourage you to get vaccinated. Even if a child has had COVID-19 in the past, they should still get vaccinated as well. We do know that's important and can help reduce reinfections.
From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
Cybersecurity attacks can cripple and even force a small business to close. Does your organization have a focused approach to being cyber resilient? If you can't answer yes, you should contact Omni Strategic Technologies to help you identify the steps to protect your data and reputation from the very real cyber threats that exist today. Schedule your free consultation by calling Omni at 304-242-7600 or online at omniperforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only cybersecurity firm that the Watchdog trusts.
It's the little moments that have the biggest impact. Every time you mentor a child or donate your time or money, you empower their future. You can help make a difference and be a hero in the eyes of a child, one simple act of encouragement at a time. Positive childhoods lead to promising futures. Help prevent child abuse and neglect in your community. Learn more at octf.ohio.gov.
Introducing Beat the Stigma, Ohio's newest game show, where contestants go head-to-head to uncover the underlying causes of addiction. Did you know many of the contributing factors of addiction are beyond your control? Genetics can be responsible for 50% of your risk for addiction. Addiction is not a decision, it's a disease, and it's treatable. Can you beat the stigma? Challenge what you know about addiction at beatthestigma.org.
Hey, I'm going to the kitchen. Can I grab you a Coors Light?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Huh. I never knew there was a zip line in my fridge. Hey! Hey, buddy! Yeah! You got 2 Coors Lights up there?
You got it! Always brewed down to 34 degrees. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go. 2 Coors Lights.
Awesome, man. Wow, these are really cold.
That's the only way I deliver it.
Sure. I mean, you being a mountain climber and all.
Yep.
You probably need a pretty warm coat in there, huh?
Yep.
Hey, Ben!
Yeah!
Ask him if he has any nachos.
You got any nachos in there?
No.
Just icy cold Coors Light?
Yep.
That makes sense. It is the Rockies.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
It's the summer's hottest party, the Circus Saints and Sinners Party on the Plaza, presented by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. The fun happens Saturday, July 9th at the Plaza on Market in downtown Wheeling. Enjoy food trucks, beer and wine, and all-day live music starring Pittsburgh's No Bad Juju and Cleveland Rockers Trailer Park Ninjas, with special guest Spinning Jenny. Get tickets at partyontheplaza.org.
Broadcasting from the Ohio Valley, talking about the Ohio Valley. We're live and local. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
To the hour, final check of the forecast for you this morning, and it's a good one. Remember yesterday? Take yesterday, repeat it, but with less heat and yet less humidity, and that's about as good as you can get. Lots of sunshine today, all day long. Going to be cooler than yesterday. We were into the mid-90s yesterday. We'll be 82 or so for a high today, so nice, cooler day. Lower humidity than yesterday as well. Perfect day for, well, I'm going to get in the pool with my grandson. Tomorrow, sunny, a high of 85. Saturday, sunny, a high of 90. Sunday, we'll see a sunny day, high around 89. We might see some clouds and showers in the afternoon and overnight hours on Sunday and lingering into Monday morning. But then, past those morning showers on Monday, again, beginning of next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're looking at sunny skies and temperatures in the around the 80-degree mark. So all in all, great forecast for today and for the weekend. 69, Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 73 here at my home studios, and 70 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. There was a story on Metro News just now that I wanted to comment on, and I wanted to comment on it because I think my take on this will surprise some of you. Story is about a gun store, Big Daddy Guns. The name's a little goofy, but all right. Big Daddy Guns wants to open a gun store right in the heart of downtown Morgantown. All right, if you know, Morgantown is right by the Westover Bridge, and they've gotten most of their city permits, health permit, building permit, et cetera, but they still have to get a business permit, a business license authorized by the city. And there is a group of people, and they call themselves Protect Morgantown, an organization that is trying to get the city council to deny the permit for Big Daddy Guns. Now, I am on the side of Protect Morgantown in terms of their philosophy. They say that in light of all the recent mass shootings and all of the concern over gun violence, that a gun shop right in the heart of downtown is not an inviting image. Also, and I will put this an asterisk here because I think this may be a pretty big deal, it's not all that far away from Morgantown High School, and I think that does have something to bear here. But as I read this story last night and thought about it a little bit, Bob, I think if I was on council, I'd go ahead and give them their business license.
That is a little surprising, Howard. But yeah, I think it's the right decision.
Well, for better or ill, I sometimes think it's ill, but for better or ill, it's legal. The selling, the sold the proper way with doing the right kind of background checks, et cetera, is legal. Concealed carry permits are legal. The guy who is behind this, and he has several of these Big Daddy Guns all across the country, says that they'll do. They will sell guns and ammunition and sort of accessories. They'll also do training. They're going to have a range where people can go and learn how to shoot properly and so on. Again, I'm not in. I think we have a serious gun violence problem, and I think we need to have much greater control and regulation of guns. I know. Please, no Second Amendment calls. I get it. I understand your argument. But I'm going to be on the side of the gun shop here. I can't really say if it's a legal business. And from everything that I read, the guy is trying to be a friendly part of the city. He acknowledges that people don't like the guns. He says he wants to educate people about the Second Amendment. He wants to be able to train people about the use of guns. He wants to make people a little less fearful of guns by presenting them in a friendlier environment. And I don't know that, if it's a legal shop, Bob, I don't know that not granting them a license, I don't see the value in that. I mean,
well, this is where I think, and again, it's what was pounded in my head long time ago when I made the decision that I'd like to be involved with guns. I look at it as a simple safety issue. The same reason why I don't want teachers or counselors or anyone in the school packing, because accidents happen. And that person laying there is just as dead as if a terrorist or a bad person would have shot him. So to me, if a school is there and a round is fired from a pistol or a high-powered rifle, somebody might catch that bullet. That's what is kind of scary to me. That's why I would take a hard look at it. But the other reason, I think you're right. Do business.
I mean, again, I don't want to say this without irritating some people. Bob, there's an image of a gun store owner that many people have, right? I mean, you know what the image I'm thinking of, the camo wearing, half beard, I got my guns, nobody can take my, that kind of guy. All right, I know I'm being offensive, but that's an image. But it's from what I've been reading about this shop in Morgantown, they're trying to get rid of that image, try to become a more, community-friendly gun shop. And guns are legal, and I'm sure that he will. I'm sure they keep a close eye on him, so therefore he will follow all regulations. He says he will. I believe he will. Don't know him, but I mean, he says he will. And I'm sure they keep an eye on it as well. I can't see preventing a legal business, particularly one that wants to try to present a positive image there. Now, the only caveat, as I said, I would put here is this is about half a mile away from Morgantown High School. I would have preferred they found a place maybe not so close to a school. Not that I think there's any danger to the school, although I get your point, Bob. If he's going to have a shooting range there, not that they're going to shoot a half mile away, but I mean, there's the potential for problems. It makes me a little bit nervous that it's this close to a school. And I would have, if I was on city council, I'd have long conversations about that aspect of it. And I'd ask, isn't there a better, couldn't you just move 2 blocks away someplace? But I will probably surprise people. I think that given resolving that school issue, I think the council should give this gun store its license. I'm understanding of all the concerns Protect Morgantown has, about the mass shootings. I am with you. I think gun violence is a serious problem. I think we have to do something about it. I think we need greater regulation. I think all that's true. But given the state of where we are right now, I can't see a reason not to have them. The woman who is representing this business in Morgantown, it's a nationwide business. They've got, I think, 6 locations nationwide, Big Daddy Guns. But she says every single life loss is too many in unjustified circumstances. If you perceive a threat from Big Daddy Guns, we should at least be clear on the facts and understand the root causes of violent crimes. And again, I think it's probably not a bad idea that people become, and I know this is strange, people are going to say, Monroe, this doesn't sound like you. I think people need to become more familiar with weapons, and then can make a more informed decision about how you should regulate them,
And Howard, that's great, but I think the point that Big Daddy is missing here is, just like traffic, more activity, more traffic, there's more likely something going to go wrong. I could bring in a couple guests that are in that type of business. Every year, somebody brings a live round into their shop. A live round. They have no idea that it's loaded, and you pull that trigger, somebody could die in a half of a second. That's what I'm talking about. More activity with guns, more chances of something going wrong. I've been around them my whole life. They make me extremely uneasy. I don't want to see your gun. I don't want to see you handle it.
To your point earlier, Bob, more people are shot with guns that are purchased for defense at home than are robbers who are coming in to take your house. The people who buy guns, say, I'm buying it for defense in case a robber comes in, are more likely to shoot someone of their own family or someone of their own friend circle than they are a robber.
I've always believed that. I've always believed in that.
But because one of the things I think we have to have, and we don't, the states are getting further away from this. Remember in Ohio just recently passed a law where you don't have to have any training. I mean, I think if you're going to own a gun, you should go through a lot of hoops to get background checks, mental health checks. I think before you get it, you should go through all that. And secondly, I think you should be required to have a serious course in gun safety and gun usage. And too often somebody goes and buys, a text here says, forget going to a gun store, get your guns and your fishing tackles at the pawn shop and save yourself some money. I think there's too much possibility of that as well. Have a caller with us this morning?
We do, and I think he wants to share his experience with us.
All right, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, HK. I can totally agree with Bob about how a person cannot know a gun's loaded. About 40 years ago, I was cleaning my empty gun, and I pulled the trigger just to clear it, and shot myself in the leg.
Oh! Whoa!
Oh! Bullet is still in there. The doctor said it would be more harm trying to take it out. So, it's still in there.
So your point is, you may be the most gun-conscious, gun safety, gun knowledgeable person in the world, and mistakes still can happen.
I sure am now. Talk to you later.
Thank you, sir. Yikes. That goes to your point, though, Bob. It goes to your point. You know, it's people are, and it's why these folks who like to carry all their guns with them, you see these guys that have got, AR-15s and other things wrapped around their shoulder and ammo belts and everything else, and they go walking into Walmart. It's like, what are you trying to prove? And the damage is that you can cause is way too serious.
Is this a silly statement? Because I believe it. It just shows you how silly I am. I think there's a lot greater chance of me getting shot accidentally, especially if I put myself in position around people with other guns. I believe I have a much greater chance of being shot with friendly fire than a terrorist coming in here and killing me.
I think you're right. And I think statistics will back that up. We focus on, and well, we should, mass shootings where 13 kids are killed in one incident, and those are horrific things. And so we tend to look at that, and we didn't start talking about gun control. But you're right. I think more people are shot or harmed with guns in individual incidents of error, or just of mistakes, which is why I'm not keen on having armed teachers in school, and why law enforcement doesn't want armed teachers in school.
Let me rephrase that since I thought of it. I got a lot better chance getting shot if I'm around Hank when he's cleaning his gun, so I want to stay away from him too.
We got Bob Westfall coming up. I need to do a quick break before that. Is that correct?
Yeah, let's do it.
A fast one.
On the last talk line on Metro News, Brad McElhenney talking about the testimony of Chris Stirewalt before the January 6th commission.
Stirewalt did talk about the elections desk that night and that early Arizona call. He characterized it as a call that the elections desk, multiple members of the desk, were very confident in.
Talk line weekdays at 10:06 right here on this Metro News radio station. We'll talk to you then.
Summer is here at your Toyota dealer. Check out Toyota's wide range of hybrid vehicles with incredible MPGs, like a new RAV4 hybrid with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever before. Or travel in style in a new Highlander hybrid with cutting-edge tech and plenty of space for the whole family. Visit buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. But hurry, offers end July 5th. Reserve yours today. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey there, Dave Weekly here. Metro News Hotline presents what's trending in sports, music, movies, tech, television, and more from a Mountain State point of view. Renowned local and national guests pepper the daily lineup with authoritative insights and commentary on a wide variety of topics from West Virginia high school sports to the financial markets. Join the fun. Every day, Coop and I dip into irreverent discussions with calls, texts, tweets, the question of the day, and the always popular in or out. Metro News Hotline, weekdays from 3 to 6 on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
We're on air, online, on video, and on demand. Find us where you like us. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
not for me. Our love was out to get me. That's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. Then I saw her face.
Over the Big 7, WTRF TV, Bob Westfall hanging out, getting ready for news coverage of the day today. Already starting to put together the plans for their reporters to head out and gather info and present it to you. Let's see what they're working on. Bob, good morning. Welcome to the show this Thursday.
Good morning, Howard. How you guys doing?
Good, good. We're having it's a slow morning this morning. I think everybody, the weather is just nice and sunny and pleasant. And I think everybody's in kind of a chill out mood, lay back and chill out. It's been a quiet morning this morning. I haven't had to raise my voice at all.
Really?
Yeah.
So the medication's working.
Bob, what did you put in this coffee that you gave me this morning? What is it? My wife gave me coffee. Maybe she put something in there. Bob, what are you working on today? Some good stuff?
All right. Things we're working on today, a little bit lighter story out of Tyler County. Tyler is hosting the state rodeo for school buses. School bus drivers put it together every year. Just show up their skills. Obviously, very important because they carry our best treasure, our kids, to school, to and from school. So we're going to go down south, take a look at that. While we're down south, we're going to do they're setting up for the Back Home Festival, one of, if not the largest festival, free festival, music festivals in the state of West Virginia. That is tomorrow. We'll be down there live for that tomorrow with Tony. But we're going to go down and get the setup today. Colin's going to swing by that today and get that. So we have that. Speaking of music, the Belmont County Heritage Museum is going to unveil a Jamboree in the Hills historic exhibit looking at 40 years Jamboree in the Hills. I remember going to one of the first ones. It was only 2 days. So it's been around a while. They're going to take a look at some of the different memorabilia from 40 years of Jamboree in the Hills.
I think that's a great idea. I'm like you, Bob. I remember going to the first couple. First one I went as an invited guest as a member of the media because it was a big deal, and then I went to a couple of them. Yeah. Boy, how it changed over the years, though, huh?
Right. Totally. At the end, it was totally different than what it was at the beginning. 4 days from 2 days when it first started. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to have in the exhibit. So we're going to check that out today.
Sounds good.
I'm going to talk to Senator Capito this afternoon. I want to get her on the gun bill legislation that's out there. A lot of people, including West Virginia State Attorney General Patrick Morrissey, are not happy with possible red flag laws within the legislation. So I'm curious to see what her take is on red flag laws. So I think she has signaled her support for the bill. So we're going to talk to her.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think she and Senator Manchin both were among those who helped craft that bipartisan bill. Again, I don't know what she'll say to you. Maybe she's got some concerns about some parts of it, but my sense is that she and Manchin both are at least philosophically behind the concept of the bill.
Right. So we're going to find out. We'll talk to her this afternoon. We'll have that story later this afternoon. Police Academy, a huge police academy, is meeting today in Brooke County. Law enforcement from all over the northern panhandle, eastern Ohio, will be converging on that, so we'll be there. Taylor Long is checking that out. Also going to do a little preview for C.J. Goodwin's football camp that's coming this weekend. C.J. graduate, I do believe, of Lindsley, now playing for the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. So we're going to
hold on.
that.
Wait a minute. Can you say the Dallas Cowboys now? I thought Ohio State now had the ownership of the now.
I'm from Ohio.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we got that. And then we're working with United Way today. Day 3 of the Celebrity Scoopers out of Kirk's Ice Cream. Our own Aaliyah Keller will be out there from 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, scooping ice cream. So if you need a scoop of ice cream, kind of hot, stop by, help the United Way, say hello. So
I'll go out there and get myself some chocolate butter fudge. They got the best chocolate butter fudge. Oh, I love Kirk's Ice Cream. So I may stop out and I'll put her to work, by golly.
There you go. And the last story we're working on today is today's 50th anniversary of Title 10. Title X is legislation that elevated female sports and athletics to be taken care of as equal in colleges and high schools as men's sports. It's not perfect yet, but we're going to talk to the athletic director of Wheeling University, which happens to be female, on how important this Title X was to women's athletics.
Check it all out at noon, 5, 6, 10, 11, 5:30 for the statewide show. Check it out always at WTRF.com, the award-winning website. And always carry WTRF in your pocket with the Storm Tracker 7 app and the News app. Bob, good talking to you. We'll wrap up the week tomorrow morning. Thanks for being here this morning. Have a good day. And Mr. Slider, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock to wrap things up. You come back with me?
I plan on being here.
All right. We're going to make it a good finale next tomorrow on the Friday edition of the Watchdog Morning Show.
Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. As tensions simmer over who's to blame for record-high gas prices, the White House has called oil company execs to Washington today for meetings. Here's ABC's Karen Travers.
Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm today sits down with executives from major oil companies, what the White House is calling the start of a conversation about lowering gas prices. Granholm spoke Wednesday at the White House press briefing about the price of oil right now.
Normally, when you see that kind of a drop, $10 per barrel, the rule of thumb is that you see a 25-cent drop in the price at the pump. So we're going to be asking why that hasn't happened yet and when that will happen.
In a letter last week, President Biden demanded these companies bring down prices